All right, MMA Fools, we're back, and we've got quite a fight card to go over. Yeah. Sadly, I missed the first couple of fights because I had to work later than expected.
The prelims,
right? No, I missed some on the main card, too.
Really?
I didn't get a chance to look at them today either because I couldn't sleep when I got back, and then today I had to go to a meeting for this bartending gig. And
you saw the last three, right? The last.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like.
Those are the meat of the card. Anyway.
Right. We might as well jump right into it, huh?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So we got UFC 252, Miocic versus Cormier. We'll start down at the bottom here. So I'm going to kind of let you guys take this, but John Dodson versus Merab.
Dude, this fight was interesting.
It was interesting.
How do you say that guy's name, though?
Velishvili?
Merab, man, he's an animal, dude. He's got mad output. Dodson really looked like he was looking for that one strike all night that was going to put it away, but he never got a chance, and he just kind of froze up. Look, after a while, it looked like he was just tired of being in there.
Well, his cardio is so good. Merab's cardio is just on another level. It seems like on a bantamweight.
He totally outstruck him.
If he gets to fight 5-round fights, man, he's going to be a problem in a 5-round fight.
Scroll down a little bit because look at the takedown. Dodson did a great job defending takedowns, but the tenacity of Merab was insane. Yeah, he landed. If you get on to find takedowns, he attempted 20-something takedowns.
I mean, honestly, and
Someone's
he
just
got
showing the attempts.
every time.
He only landed 10% of 20.
Well, every time he dumped Dodson, and Dodson just popped right back up immediately. You couldn't keep him down.
Yeah,
but other than that, Dodson really had nothing to show for him. It was. Piss poor though.
I don't feel like there's a lot of fighters in the division that can do what Dodson did. So that's impressive even to do it to Dodson because Dodson historically has very great takedown defense. So I wasn't really surprised he couldn't get him down and maintain position on the ground. Because I don't remember Dodson ever being on his back. Think of his fights. I don't remember him being on his back ever.
Yeah. Not even really
I think
Mighty Mouse.
No.
Anybody else, Dishwally's going to slam him to the ground and beat the living shit out of him.
Yeah, so this is a great showing for him in that regard because it's Dodson's a hard matchup.
Not a bad fighter
and he looked good on his feet too.
Oh, yeah, he shut Dodson down there. Dodson really had no answer for him.
Constant pressure. He wasn't the best striker, but it was in the way that Khabib is, where his striking highlights his grappling.
Yeah, I wouldn't say he was crisp boxing or any technical sort, but just a lot of output and just pressure and tenacity the whole time. Never like I said, he gets to 5-round fights, he's gonna be a problem.
Yeah, and especially in the division, there's good wrestlers, Aljamain Sterling, but I don't know, his grappling seemed like Khabib-ish, but I mean maybe less developed, and less in all the phases of grappling, but. It's just his cardio is so good, and it's hard to match that whenever you're fighting him. So
yeah, and I feel like it's hard to say he's probably as strong as Khabib too, because that's the thing that seems to be so weird about Khabib.
But yeah, it's a pretty good fight. It was more of an interesting fight and a good test and to see where they're at. Dodson can defend a takedown. He can't defend a takedown while maintaining output. And I think I mentioned last week that he's a low output fighter. He just kind of stands there too, and he waits for the big shot. And somebody that fast and that. Cardio based, you can't really do that when somebody's in your face all day.
Yeah, I just feel like fighters got to get away from that too. You got to have output, man.
You got to have a jab.
You're just not going to win fights.
It's insane.
Yeah, you got to wear the other guy down.
Yeah,
you're not just going to lights out him every time.
Yeah, and like he said with the jab, even if you just throw the jab and wait for the big shot, at least you're throwing something.
Right. Or whenever you have that sort of game, but you don't even have a wrestling threat. To sort of change the fight a little bit, and it's whenever you're standing there the whole fight waiting for the good punch,
that's what Woodley's been trying to do,
right? And he has a wrestling threat; he just doesn't even threaten it anymore. Right. But I feel like a skill level wise, people are closing that window of that one punch threat window you have. Fighters just close it smaller and smaller every time they see you fight like that.
Oh yeah,
Woodley. He looks for that shot, but fighters know that, and they train to close that window. Mm-hmm. And when someone's training that and you don't change your strategy, it's what are you going to do? You can't win a fight.
Yeah. All right, so move on from this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm interested to see what is next for Dishwally. I think he's going to be an interesting prospect in the division for sure.
This is a great fight, actually.
Yeah, man.
You should go back and watch this fight.
You should watch this
I planned on watching him after we get done with this.
I think something's up with Herbert Burns. He showed in, overweight, and
he looked really lethargic.
I don't know if it's carelessness or he had an injury deal with. I don't know what it is, but
he got his ass beat.
He didn't look good. He didn't look like his usual self. And Pineda, man, like
amazing
ground and pound. He impressed all around. Like he dealt with adversity. Burns actually in the second round came out and had him in trouble, and he fought out of it, and the ground and pound never stopped. Like he was hitting him from places you just are like, this guy, I can't believe this guy's punching me from here, and mixing it up. Like once he had him once he was on top of him, body head. Like he just Burns had no idea where he was gonna go.
Well,
like
that striking differential is insane.
Yeah.
A lot of it was on the ground, but
still
he ended in the crucifix. He actually rode that momentum on the crucifix pretty well, where he kept him in it. And Herbert Burns is a great grappler.
That's the thing is, like, he impressed all around, man. Like he out grappled Burns. Like I said, I don't think this is the usual Burns. He looked.
What we got
didn't look that great, but
you can only judge what you got.
Yeah, but Pineda, man, he looked really impressive, and I'm excited to see what he's going to do next.
Yeah, and they're both unranked guys too. So I mean, how much? I mean, you want to say?
I think this
you're saying that might not be the normal Herbert Burns, but he's not even. He's not ranked. It might be.
But
who knows?
Still, I mean, like I said, he came in overweight, and it just didn't. I don't know.
He's just not Gilbert.
Yeah.
He's also He's a ground guy. Like that's his bread and butter.
Why would a mother name their kid Gilbert and Herbert Burt? Like, come on.
Yeah, I keep saying Gilbert.
Like it's just like those names for any.
Yeah.
It's a little goofy.
Yeah, it is for sure.
That was his downfall.
But I think this should earn Pineda a ranked fight.
Yeah, or at least somewhere close, like 12.
Yeah,
top 12.
Well, yeah, top 15.
Yeah, top 15 is kind of what we go by because that's what the UFC site has.
Unless you just have a database of fighters in your head, it's hard to make ranking.
Right.
Unless you have the list of all the fighters active.
Yeah. And I mean, Pineda took a big knee. It split his eye wide open, and
this was like a week's notice for Pineda too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And he looks like a serial killer.
I guess he got cut by the UFC 6 years ago.
Oh, really?
And how many
the name sounds super familiar.
He actually
won how many fights? 11 fights outside of the UFC.
He actually it's weird they even signed him though, to be honest, because he failed a drug test in PFL and then got signed off of that, which is weird to even get signed off of a drug test failure. But hopefully he cleaned up his system and doesn't fail another drug test.
That's 6 years ago he fought.
Yeah, that's quite a while ago.
Brandao, he lost to Brandao and lost to. Justin, he beat Justin Lawrence, I think.
Yeah, beat Justin Lawrence. All right. Well, we'll see what we think about him in the future here.
Yeah. He's what, 36?
30, I think 35, 36. He's kind of older for that weight class, but fight years are different than.
He looked good
years.
though. He looked really good.
So then we got Dos Santos versus Jairzinho Rozenstruik.
I feel like Dos Santos looked really good until he didn't look good and got caught.
Well, he just he was fast, dude. He was throwing kicks like a light heavyweight. He looked in really great shape.
Best shape I've seen him in maybe ever, but definitely for a long time. It just once Rozenstruik really poured the pressure on,
he got uncomfortable against the cage.
Yeah, he just doesn't seem to deal with the pressure well. He really doesn't.
He backs up in straight lines and also doesn't circle out ever.
Yeah,
and that's the same problem since like 2013. And he got beat by Kane.
And your strength is boxing.
Yeah,
so learn to round off.
Yeah,
I think if JDS wants to stick around, I mean, he's a good gatekeeper for the heavyweight division.
Never going to make it.
He's never going to. I don't think he's ever going to beat those top 4 or 5 guys.
I have to agree.
I think this fight is a lot better for him, even in the loss than like the Blades fight, because he got bombed out by Blades on the feet, and that's crazy. That never happens in Blades fights. So that's more damning than this fight. This fight, like Jairzinho is a great striker, so it's like getting caught by him is not really a death sentence.
Yeah,
they were both throwing. Every shot was to end the fight. Though,
and it was the best I've seen Dos Santos look in.
Oh wow, he looks faster because usually he looks really sluggish and like, especially his last, I'd say about 5 fights, he looked really slow. Like not overweight, but just bulky.
Yeah,
and he looked really lean and fast on his feet this fight too.
And I thought he looked okay in his last fight, I think too, but not like
that was the Blades fight. And he looked good. He was
it was his last fight.
He was spamming the uppercut too much, and then he got caught with the overhand right from Blades. And I don't know. It just depends on your fight IQ.
Rozenstruik did a real good job though of like JDS was throwing some bombs, and Rozenstruik just was always this far away from.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
And the couple that landed, he handled really well.
Yeah. And he didn't do that much before he won. Like it's a pretty fast fight.
Yeah,
it was a decent fight, but he didn't. He's more of a counter striker, I think. Actually,
yeah, he had some nice kicks, like leg kicks and whatnot. But yeah, he wasn't doing high output.
No.
But then once he started the output, then JDS didn't know what to do.
I think, I mean, because he got wiped off the face of the earth by Ngannou too, he was like, he wanted to be patient, and he was really patient with this fight, and when the moment opened, he took it, and that was it.
I mean, I hate seeing JDS lose like that when he looked that good in shape, but
killer mustache too.
Yeah, it was a pretty good mustache. But he also was talking shit on Francis, saying that Francis has no skills and he wants to rematch him. And like that level of delusion about something.
He could probably have a good career in porn after this with that mustache.
Yeah.
That's true.
Depends how he fucks too, though. I think.
Right, you got. I mean, you got to pass the test.
They'll CGI, dude.
They'll CGI it.
Stunt cock.
Stunt cock. But
he doesn't need a stunt cock actually. but I defend his.
But it is sad, like you said, that he looked that good and
still lost.
Like,
because he's like the nicest guy on the face of the earth. So
yeah. Well, and you know what's crazy is I believe he has a black belt in jiu-jitsu.
I don't know why he doesn't grapple
from Black House, and he never does. Well, some of those people, even though they have black belts in jiu-jitsu, they just don't seem to be able to do it in MMA.
Yeah, I think it costs a lot of energy, especially if you're a guy who can end people in one shot.
But whenever you can't end as many people as you want to anymore.
It's like into your older years, like maybe you need to start,
Yeah.
I always question like the credibility of the black belt when I never see somebody use it.
True.
I do. Like I remember Rashad Evans was a black belt in jiu-jitsu, and I don't even remember him going for a submission ever.
Yeah.
He had a black
downs. You've put in enough time here doing jiu-jitsu to be a black belt, but it's like
practical wise,
are you that good? Like,
well,
you know what I mean? Like, just because you've put in 10,000 hours doesn't mean you're the best.
Well,
you're good enough to be a black belt.
And there's a big difference between being able to be that good at jiu-jitsu when everything is just focused on jiu-jitsu than through a whole MMA fight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where you got to worry about punches,
right.
kick, you know what I mean? Where you got to worry about all of that.
Yeah.
It's a much different thing.
And not all black belts are equal too. You compare like a black belt of Verdum versus a black belt of JDS,
right?
And they're both black belts on paper. But you know who's the superior black belt.
It's like, is it even beneficial to just learn base jiu-jitsu instead of just being like, the whole time I learned jiu-jitsu, you're going to be able to throw punches.
I guess like gi grappling is kind of, I mean, like, gi grappling probably has good applications towards any jiu-jitsu. Yeah. But if I'm fighting MMA, I want to do no gi grappling.
Oh, for sure.
Just I mean, like you do both. You could do both because it's the sport of it's nice.
It's probably a world of difference, and it's like
honestly, I probably wouldn't even do gi till I decided I was done with MMA because why tease yourself with those extra weapons?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a completely different game.
Yeah, and like you only have so many hours to put in towards a skill and into a realm of fighting. You know, if you're doing gi grappling, then that's less no gi you could do just based on hours of the week.
Right.
You know, unless you just train all day, but that's impossible. It just seems like I like to see him actually in a grappling tournament, see how his grappling is.
Right.
And like his takedown defense has always been pretty good. Like he's never really been taken down much. Kane spammed takedowns for 2 fights and only got him down a few times really. He beat him by the takedowns, but I like to see if he has offensive grappling. He takes somebody down. I think he took down Carwin maybe. I think that back in the day he took down Carwin.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like if you're getting knocked out on the feet, if you're slower than you were 7 years ago, and you do have a black belt, I don't know why you wouldn't use it or at least threaten it.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Definitely try to use it, especially in your older age when you don't seem to be knocking people out as cleanly as you used to.
Yeah.
And you get knocked out.
Yeah.
And I saw the Gilbert Yvel knockout. I watched it recently, like I think 2 days ago, and it's just like how fast he was with his boxing was insane compared to now. And like you get older and you get more shop worn and your training is different and just all these variables. But it's sad to see somebody that degenerated from the top of the mountain as they were, you know.
Yeah.
I think this says good things about Rosenstrike though. Like
for sure.
Yeah. You know, maybe that Francis fight might be the best thing that happened to this guy. He might be. I mean, he might refocus and.
Still, I think again, he was low output up until he wasn't. So I just work on that output.
Yeah,
you gotta touch people.
And like I would feel, it's kind of shitty, but I'd feel like he needs to beat JDS in 2020. I mean, those are the types of fighters you need to beat.
Yeah, if you weren't beating him, it would have spoke. If he would have not beat him, if he would have lost to JDS, it would have spoke louder than him beating JDS.
Right. It's a test you need to be. If you want to be top 5, you need to beat the JDSs of the division now because that's where he stands in the division.
Yeah.
He's not up there either with them. There's a big skill gap between Francis and JDS, I think.
Yeah. Oh, completely agree.
He falls in between now. but I don't know if he's good enough to beat Francis in the future.
Yeah, not yet. I think they asked him, and he was kind of like, "Oh, we'll see."
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to go.
I think he has a fight already.
Is he retiring soon?
He's got a title fight.
I like to see. I like to see his grappling as well because he is out grappled by Overeem. So like, I don't know how good his grappling is, and he probably could have been exploited by JDS.
Well, I mean, I feel like in his Pride days, Overeem used his grappling quite a bit.
Yeah, he uses it now whenever he outmatches somebody there. Like he beat Sergey Pavlovich with grappling. He pounded him out. He beat Stefan Struve with grappling. He does use it, but
because in his Pride days, he was kind of known for some submissions, wasn't he?
I think he had 19 submissions to his record. So.
Yeah.
Somebody asked Stipe last night if he'd fight Struve again, just to be like, every man that stood in front of me, I did beat. Like,
who wants to see that?
He's
fight
like,
now?
dude, I was young and naive, and thought I was unstoppable at that point.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, that was the best thing that actually ever happened to me. Like,
to me, Struve is always dangerous against anybody too, just because he's a
it's
fucking
just wild
giant.
to think that Stefan Struve knocked out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bad loss for Stipe on his record.
It's
it's just like one of this fluke anomaly. Like that probably never happen again. But I mean, also credit to Struve for knocking him out.
Yeah.
It's probably not as bad as that guy who heel hooked Anderson Silva in Pride.
And like, he had a losing record and stuff. Yeah.
Right, so it's not that bad.
I mean, at least he's a named fighter.
It's not Rio Chonin. Was it Rio Chonin?
Yeah, and also I think Takasi beat him with a triangle too.
Yeah.
He lost twice in Pride.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
All right. Well, next fight, the letdown of the night.
Yeah.
Not for me.
Just because I'm
Well, I put
okay.
money on Vera, but.
Yeah, and I'm okay with Cheeto winning. I just wish we would have got
Yeah, I wish it would have.
a fight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We didn't get a fight.
But there,
both fighters looked good,
Ver-
and then he
people
fucked
were
his foot
giving
up
Vera
again.
shit
No.
about saying like, oh well, I kicked him and he hurt
did
himself. He did kick him. There was a point where he kicks O'Malley, and O'Malley switches stances and then
drags
immediately
his
like
foot.
drags his
Yeah,
foot.
he-
Yeah.
And then the shit happens in the center of the octagon shortly after.
Well, because I could tell something was wrong with his leg before the real bad one.
Yeah.
Well, like there's clips out
and
there.
it seems to be that when Vera kicked him, it
Yeah, like
deadened a nerve or something. I don't know.
yeah, because he kicks it, and he immediately switches stances. He goes to take a step out, and he drags his foot across the canvas.
Sean O'Malley, man, he came out. His kicks look powerful.
Wait.
His striking in general
Wait,
looked good.
Yeah. But that's the big one, though.
Yeah,
Something happened before this.
Yeah, if you go back and try to find the kick,
They're gonna have to show a replay of that, right?
go down. Go,
This is probably the
yeah, here it
kick.
is. Look.
A few times with those
So he
kicks,
kicks-
cheap kicks and the low kicks.
What?
I mean, everything adds up. These guys are so long in their lower halves.
Then-
We do
then he
have some
switches,
leverage
and
right
then
now. Both
he
these
tries
guys
to
are foot
step.
to foot.
See,
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
already
Again,
on it.
twice.
and then he falls right here. He's
How's that
Yeah, and
for a
then he
fight?
falls. So there was
Yeah.
something going on already before that big step in the middle, and it
Yeah.
could have been caused by
Go
that
ahead and
kick
get out
from
of
Vera.
this.
I mean,
it looks like the kick caused a dead leg, and like what I from watching it, his leg dead, and then he stumbles and maybe twists his ankle or fucks up his leg more based off his leg being dead and not feeling it.
Right.
And like, because I remember I mentioned it last night to Kyle, Henry Cejudo when he fought Mighty Mouse, he had the same exact problem when he got kicked and he was like stumbled around for like a full minute and a half.
Yeah.
His leg was just dead for.
did it
you know,
recover though?
his recovered.
Yeah, I
He
remember that.
He never got in the position that O'Malley did to get pounded out,
Yeah.
obviously. But it's just like, I mean,
I think O'Malley injured himself though. Whenever, like, I think maybe it was just dead nerve until like he takes that step in the middle, and then
Then
I
he
think
actually fucks it up,
Yeah,
like,
he fucks
damage.
himself up.
but
Yeah, because he didn't look like he was in pain.
Yeah,
because
because he stood there straight up, going, "What the fuck's wrong with my leg?" I think,
Yeah,
for a
like he
minute.
was trying to figure it out.
Yeah,
But it's just like it's not fluky, but it doesn't say much bad about O'Malley, and it doesn't say the most good about Vera. But
Yeah.
I don't think it's a fluke because it's like you kick somebody with the intent of damaging. It's just the best case scenario for a
Yeah.
kick. You see,
Right.
it's the best case scenario for a
it's
calf
just
kick.
unfortunate we didn't get a full like,
Fight.
fight. You
Yeah,
know, that it
like
comes
it-
down to I mean, a kick injuring a guy. Like
Yeah, I don't want to. I'm not trying to take anything away from Cheeto.
No,
It's just
no.
unfortunate how it went down.
Yeah.
Dave, do you think the stoppage was good or no?
I think it was good.
Oh, I think it was bad but good because there was nothing O'Malley was going to do.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
This kid's got a long career ahead of him, and like there's no reason to make him take. Yeah. Well, yeah. Hopefully this isn't like a nagging thing. Like any Dominic Cruz is out, and it's fucking
right. But regardless of his future, I think if that was another fight where those same exchanges were happening, but the guy that was on the ground did not have his leg all fucked up, he probably wouldn't have stopped it.
Right.
But well, it depends on how much the damage that Vera was causing on top was allowed by how bad his leg was.
I think you hear O'Malley like, ugh, though.
Yeah,
after he gets
he goes out for a second. There's ground pound strikes.
But we've seen a million guys get hit like that in the fight not be stopped.
There's no reason to make O'Malley take more damage there.
That's why I say bad but good because there was nothing. If the fight was over regardless. He
might not have been able. He probably couldn't have came out for the second round. So why make him take another shot?
Though I think if there's an advantageous position by Vera without a leg injury and he's laying the same shots, I wouldn't feel good about O'Malley's chances of getting up from that mount position. And like, dude, he was landing in bombs, and like he went out. He did go out for a second.
But how much could O'Malley defend while his leg? He's just like, I'm
right. He's definitely not using that leg to try to push him back or do any kind of control with that leg. You know what I mean?
Just objectively, if there's the same bombs and the same reaction of him going out for a second, like I wouldn't be like, oh, Vera's. Doesn't really have it in the bag. I'd be like, well, Vera's laying on him.
Yeah, you would think like, oh, this might be about to be over.
Yeah,
but you wouldn't say it's over right now.
Right,
yeah.
Maybe 3 more shots of that magnitude would stop the fight because he was getting bombed on. But yeah, it's shortened the window he has to come back and weather it a little bit. But
I mean, I think
it sucks because he said it's pretty much the same injury, so it might be something that he just has to deal with, and that means
2 out of 5 fights of getting your leg fucked up is not a good ratio.
Injury.
I'm just as excited to see what's to come for Vera.
Vera's really
he's a good fighter.
Well, it's crazy to me that he was actually unranked here because he's actually on a 6-fight win streak in this weight class.
Yeah, he lost to us.
That was bullshit. They said that
at featherweight.
But it wasn't even in his weight division.
It was a robbery.
It was a robbery, and it wasn't his weight division. So how does that affect him in his own weight division where he has fucking six straight wins?
I think it's time to give him a top 10 matchup.
For sure, yeah. I guess we'll get to that whenever.
But O'Malley, I hope it isn't something that's gonna,
me
fuck
too,
up
because
his
star's
career,
huge, man. His star's huge.
I don't know. It's kind of, I mean, like dyeing his hair the color of his flag was like, all right, dude, it's unnecessary. It's just like I understand like the promo and the hype and shit like that.
Right.
So it's a little bit. It's like it's kind of nice to see you get humbled a little bit, and hopefully you come out with a better version of yourself that isn't so.
Yeah, but I'd want him to be humbled by a knockout versus him getting hurt. And who knows how long this puts him out?
Well,
this just sucks.
Well, it's just the fact of the matter is like if your body isn't built, like I think Cody Garbrandt also tweeted like some guys aren't built for war, and like his body, if your body fails you, you ain't the baddest man in the night if your body can't withhold the punishment. It's just like people talk about Kane being the best fighter in the world while he was injured. He's in a hospital bed.
Right.
He beat nobody.
Well, and
it's the same idea.
He's such a frail, thin guy that, and then like it looks like he's put on a lot of muscle mass and weight from where he was. It's like, is this like the biggest this dude's ever going to be able to get?
Because his legs are still skinny as fuck.
He's still like, how much is he trying to put on, and like his frame just doesn't want to carry it or whatever.
Right.
He should. I told Kyle last night he should maybe move up to 145 and try to pack on some muscle to his legs if he can. Maybe. I don't know if he can. The cut looks hard on him. He's like 5'11", whatever.
Yeah, he's really tall for the weight class. Yeah.
So like you just you figure it out before you fuck yourself up more than you can handle in a career.
I mean, you got to figure out that foot. You got to figure it out. That's all there is to it.
His style.
I mean, he's how young? How old?
25.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, if it takes 2 years to get back,
that's better than fighting this year or next year early and getting messed up again. You know. Well, I just feel like his style is so dependent on movement. You can't have injuries like that because your style is just like
that's not going to work for him because he dependent on kicks, dependent on
he doesn't fight in a box, he doesn't really go to the ground like
and then you think about the division, it's like Jose Aldo versus him, Marlon Reyes, his leg kicks versus his legs. It's just bad news until you figure out a way to get around it or do what you got to do. But the top of the division's not gonna prey on your legs, so
And now for the big fight, the heavyweight championship of the world.
What a fight.
Man, it was an awesome fight. Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it, but like I told Kyle, that I had mixed feelings about the fight. I feel like there was parts that were high level, and there's parts that were so sloppy that I'm like, who's winning these exchanges? What's going on here? It just like, I mean, obviously they're heavyweights, and obviously they went 25 minutes, so there's a little bit of leeway there.
Right.
But as far as like skill shown, it was mostly skill, but a lot of it's like, why are you getting tagged?
I think, man, these guys have fought 3 times, and
they know each other well.
They keep, they keep figuring little things out with each other. They've now gotten to the point where they kind of just make each other look a little shitty, like because they're high level chess in there at this point.
Yeah, how often do you see a heavyweight fight go that long with them both landing good fucking punches?
Yeah.
Stipe's chin's amazing to me, man, and
his hair was hilarious.
For Cormier,
yeah, I know.
I cannot believe Cormier made it out of the end of that second round into the third. Like, it looked fucking grim in his corner after the second round. He's like, "Did I go out?" And they're like, "Oh, just put it together, champ." Like, they're fucking scared, dude. It does. Like, I thought he was gonna come out for that third round and just get bombed on.
And he was still out of it for the beginning of it, for sure.
And he gutted it out, man. Like, Cormier, like he went out as good as you can fucking possibly be without taking that title away.
Yeah.
Like, he's got, like, it sucks he's gonna be hard on himself, but like, dude, that dude has nothing to, like, hold his head low before. Like, he should hold his head high. He's one of the best to ever do it.
And what sucks is I get what he's saying. Like, nothing but title fights interest me, and I'm sure I'm not going to get another one of those.
You could.
But because he'd have to have another fight or two in between.
Francis would have to be.
I'd give him, dude, based on his age and who he is, like, depending on what's going on, I'd throw him in a title fight, maybe.
Yeah. Well, and because he still looked good. He didn't look really diminished.
Oh, dude, he deserves enormous credit for being 41 years old and to be able to put on that performance.
Even for people being worried about how much weight he put on in between. He looked great.
Yeah. Fast hands. Super fast hands.
I don't think the wrestling, like, we talked about it briefly, but there's no way he's going to be able to wrestle for 5 rounds and keep up that pace, though. It just, like, once the first round was done with, I'm like, the wrestling's going to be done with,
I think he does. Yeah, he's not going to expend the energy to try to keep Stipe on the ground. Like, it's going to kill him.
Because especially when he was landing shots. I mean, it's not like it was hard for him to land those shots. He was landing them. Stipe, he just couldn't put them out.
I was scared the whole time for Stipe. I'm like, jeez, dude, he just keeps rocking. He just keeps hitting him with that right every time.
Right.
Well, Stipe's boxing, like, sometimes it looks like his defense is good. Sometimes it's just like his hands are just down and he's just standing there. Like, he got tagged more than he should for as long as he is range wise. He just, I don't know, like,
the amount he got tagged makes me nervous. Should he fight and gone?
And like he'd have a different game plan, obviously.
Probably, yeah.
But first round maybe DC. After that, all Stipe.
I think the fourth round was pretty close.
Yeah.
Well, no, actually, third or fourth was really close. The one where I think it was maybe third because.
Well, the third, I think Stipe had him pinned most of the time against the cage. Like,
a lot of the exchanges, it seemed like Stipe is losing the boxing exchanges later and started like. Getting him against the cage like Usman.
Yeah. It felt like the guys kept like stealing the ends of rounds though. Like it was real hard. Like it was real hard. I was like either Stipe totally won this fight or Cormier barely won it. Yeah. Like I don't know what the hell.
In the fourth and fifth round, there were times where I was like, "Man, DC, just keep throwing punches because you're landing them, and he's in trouble."
Yeah.
There was a couple times where Stipe looked like he was
wobbly.
In trouble.
Yeah.
But DC didn't capitalize.
Yeah.
He laid off after that. Like, no, man, you need this.
Well, the most trouble Stipe was in the fight is when early on when DC tagged him right behind the ear.
The first round he got dropped.
The first round?
It wasn't really dropped, but he like tagged him, went down a little bit, but. Yeah, I feel like Stipe. I don't know. I can't tell if he looked slower,
which was like, weird because he looked thinner than ever.
Yeah, but it just, his age is getting up there too. He's not a young spry chicken. He's still good. He looked a little bit more diminished than like his older self in terms of hand speed and movement. Like, I remember watching the Roy Nelson fight, and his boxing combinations were so fast and crisp. And now he doesn't really fight like that as often. Maybe he's just a little older.
Yeah.
And like,
well, and also against Roy Nelson, it's probably a little bit easier to do.
Yeah. But also there's that threat of the overhand right knocking him out. So he was getting in and getting out. Now he sort of plods too, and it's like a plodding fight. That's the aspect I didn't like about this fight was that it was like more plodding than I like to see. Is like,
I want to see what Stipe is going to do against a different opponent.
Right.
It's been, we've been watching this Cormier fight so long. What's he going to be like against somebody else? Like, I don't know. I think that's a question that's being raised now because Ngannou, I think, is a different animal now.
Yeah. I will say it is really unfortunate, even though DC and John Jones are both known for it. That eye poke was really unfortunate. I mean,
Which one?
it was
both of them.
The
first
bad
one?
that he went
But
like
the
knuckle
thing
deep.
is-
His eye
in
was messed
fucking
up,
his
too.
eye.
But Stipe shut that eye with a punch before that.
Yeah, his eye was fucked up.
Man,
before
but
that.
but when you watch that replay, he was knuckle deep in his eye.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Knuckle
so
deep.
so was DC earlier on Stipe.
It was, like I said, DC and
Yeah, he's done it how many times?
DC and Bones are both known for it, but it was bad. I mean, it was in his eye.
I feel like his eye was already fucked up. Like Stipe shut that eye in the at the end of the second round. When he's coming out for the third, it's swollen shut.
I don't know about swollen shut, but regardless,
bad.
It was bad,
It was
yeah.
bad. But when you get a knuckle all the way in your eye, that's a problem
Yeah.
because it
Yeah,
definitely
I can't
was
believe
bad.
DC gutted that whole thing out. You know,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
amazing.
but
Like, look, I mean, that is in his eye.
Yeah.
Like,
I
It
still
was- it was
though
bad.
I think he was already blinded in that eye prior.
it didn't make it better.
No, obviously not.
No, not
Obviously
even, not
not,
even
but-
a little bit.
It might have straightened it out a little bit.
But I mean,
And it's unfortunate the ref didn't catch it because even though DC did it earlier, it was caught.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Oh, that's the
first
old fight, yeah.
oh, this
Yeah,
actually happened last night.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Missed the
But
fight.
but because DC, even though it did happen to Miocic earlier, Miocic
It
got
happened
the
in the last
time.
fight too, though.
Right?
Yeah.
But he got the time. Look at that, Jesus Christ!
Yeah, but I mean, it did end like what 10 seconds after this.
That is bad.
Yeah. It did end what like 10 seconds after this though, and then he got.
Yeah, but
he at
but
least
that's the
got to
thing. He
score.
would have got both those times to
Yeah.
try to recover. He
But-
would have got.
Yeah, he should have got.
Well, they should have stopped it. They should have took longer after
Yeah,
the round,
after
and,
the
and
round.
he saw the replay.
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah.
why they couldn't
Yeah,
make amends
just
for it.
attach
because
it
it's
to
so
the
fucked.
beginning of this round.
Right, because it was a pure accident.
But that probably
It
would have resulted
happens.
in them stopping the fight if you think about it. You know what I mean? Maybe.
Well, it would have sucked because if DC really couldn't see out of that eye, he might have been like, "Hey, man, I'll take the win or whatever," you know.
Yeah.
Well, I think it'd be a no contest at that
Yeah,
point.
I don't know.
I
Yeah.
think he might get the win. It just doesn't. Maybe the belt doesn't change hands.
I'm not sure the exact ruling. I think it depends on the athletic commission too. But I don't know. I don't know if I believe in karma exactly, but also I know Stipe is out for like an eye injury for like a fucking year. So
Yeah.
it's just like
Yeah.
yeah, I feel it's like I don't want to see that in any fight ever.
Right.
Never no
Yeah.
fights.
No.
But also, if anyone deserved it,
Yeah.
it just turned
It's
about
just-
to fair
and
play.
like I said, it sucks.
doesn't
And I don't
make me-
think, Stipe did it on purpose. I don't think Daniel Cormier does it on purpose. That's just the way his
Yeah.
dumbass fights sometimes.
Right.
He sticks his hands out like this
Yeah.
a lot. You know what I mean?
Well, he didn't use that. He didn't use that
Frankenstein
guard at
arms
all. He didn't use that guard at all.
Yeah,
this
well,
fight.
yeah,
Yeah.
because he did get hit in the gut early on, and you can tell he's like, ah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're
He
not
don't
doing
like
this
it.
Yeah,
again.
I'm not doing that. Yeah.
All right, let's. We should go ahead and go through
The
who we
rankings?
think they should fight. Right.
Yeah.
So who was the first fight on the card?
That was Dotson versus
Dotson.
Merab.
Okay. So what weight class is that?
That's a bantamweight.
135,
Bantamweight.
right?
All right. So
Right
Yeah,
there.
135.
So let's see O'Malley versus Merab, dude. No, let's not see that because I think Merab would probably take him down over and over again. It'd be
and
too
O'Malley's
Yeah.
probably out for a little while.
much. Song Yadong is coming off a win versus Marlon Vera at that 145.
I was kind of thinking that they're both kind of wrestling based, aren't they?
Yeah, Song Yadong sort of. I mean, he's more. He's both. But he's more both than Merab is both.
Yeah.
But
I'd like
It'd
to
be a
see
great fight.
Dishwali versus Sun Sao, I think.
yeah, Sunshot. Yeah, that. I mean, he's coming down. He should be down in rankings. He just lost to Cody.
Yeah.
He hasn't won in a while.
Dodson, I mean, who knows what's going to happen. Song Yadong, maybe somebody outside the top
Dude.
15.
Probably somebody outside
I
top
would imagine.
15.
I would
yeah.
actually like to see Dodson versus Cheeto Vera.
That's yeah.
Yeah, well, I think Vera, man, to me, he's
need to
ready
fight
for
Jimmy
somebody-
Rivera or
Jimmy
something like
Rivera.
Yeah.
Or even Rob Font or
Rob
Cody Stamen.
Font, yeah.
Well, I think for Merab.
Sandigan even.
I think for Merab, I think either Song Yadong or even a Sansao. Either one of those.
I don't know why Cody Stamen's ranked that high, by the way. I can't even name somebody he's beat that's relevant.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to build up Vera, throw him against Cody Stamen. You know what I mean? That's number 9. I think he could win that fight.
It's
Well, yeah, but we're not there yet.
But
Oh, yeah.
that's
Yeah.
true. But like the rankings are so weird in that regard that you can't tell. Like, sometimes you can't tell why somebody's somewhere.
Well, yeah,
because most people we can make sense of it, but
right.
I'm like, I don't know why he's
like
there.
Vera. When we get there, Vera, I mean, he's got 6 straight wins in this weight division, and he's not even ranked. That seems so fucked up to me.
Right.
And then you have Sean O'Malley, who beat Eddie Wineland, and like Vera should have been ranked higher than O'Malley was. You think about just level competition. He's won 6 in that division.
Yeah,
that's better than 3 in that division.
Yeah, how is O'Malley? It's like we're going, well, this is a big step up for O'Malley, but he's ranked higher than
right.
Because the rankings don't always reflect the skill level.
Yeah,
and like where they should be, like skill wise.
Right.
But it's also like sometimes backwards.
But so we'll say Marab.
And
one of those,
Yudong.
I like the Song Yudong, and then he beat Josh Dodson. Josh Dodson, probably somebody outside the top 5, or even though Vera isn't a bad choice, when we get to Vera, he maybe should fight somebody a little bit better with it, how he's actually been doing. But
right, and like Dominic Cruz has no wins since his last win was TJ Dillashaw 6 years ago. It seems like.
Yeah, and he's still number 11.
Yeah, I don't understand why.
I think he beats everybody below him right there. Well, not maybe O'Malley. I don't know.
Like I said, if you're in the hospital,
you're not beating
nobody.
anybody.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like it just seems like they keep these like legendary, high-profile fighters in the top 10s just because of their name. Like the Diaz brothers still being ranked, or Nate Diaz. It's like he's not ranked anywhere in my mind.
No, he definitely shouldn't be. All right, so what's the next? Who was the next fight?
That was
Okay, Daniel Pineda. So what weight class is this one in?
This was at, I think it's at one. Is that this 145?
I do not know. I wish. Why don't they have it listed right there?
Right there.
Wish it did.
Just click on him. It should tell us where he's at.
Yeah. Well, he lost
Flyweight.
to 145 because he lost to Brandao. Featherweight, yeah.
So.
Volk. Okay, so I don't know. Like Jose Aldo is still in the top 15 at featherweight, and he's not even in that division anymore.
Right.
Like, bring somebody up that can get that shine. No one's gonna be like Jose Aldo could beat those guys, but
yeah,
I mean he's not fighting in that division anymore. So why is he ranked there?
But we thought that guy looked really good, right? So
Shane Burgos is coming off a loss.
Dan Ige.
Yeah, I think Dan Ige, that's maybe too far of a step back, right?
Yeah.
Well, Dan Ige,
you don't want to put him way up, but.
Yeah, Dan Ige is at 12. But he was just at 10. And who did he lose to? Calvin?
Yeah.
Qatar.
No. Dan Ige lost to Calvin. He should be higher than that, though.
That's what I'm saying. It
like
doesn't
Jeremy
seem like he should have lost that.
There.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like he should have lost that much space for losing to the number 6 guy.
Right. And then Stevens has been knocked out like 3 times in a row, and he's still like hovering around 9.
Yeah.
He should be down 15.
Yeah.
He hasn't won in a while. Like he lost to Yair, he lost high level guys, but I feel like if you don't win a division for a while, if it's been 3 years since your last win, you shouldn't be ranked high.
I think Shane Burgos is a good fight for Pineda.
Yeah.
Honestly, for him, anybody inside the top 15 to 10, like he should take the fight.
Right.
Well, because Shane just lost to Josh Emmett, so in a great fight, but that makes sense to me. And Aldo should be out of there.
As far as Burns goes, I don't know.
He needs to fight somebody outside the top 15.
Yeah. He needs to fight the treadmill. He needs to get on the treadmill or
figure out
whatever.
what he's doing.
He needs to figure out some exercise and some diets.
Yeah, because it just is bad,
Yeah.
But
all right.
Next fight is JDS and Rosenstruck, right?
Yep. So heavyweight.
There's only a few options here because heavyweight's so thin.
Yeah. What is it?
Down a little more.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll start with the loser, huh? Dos Santos.
He should fight Cyril Gane because Cyril Gane is on a win streak. He needs a big name, great striker. Probably washes out JDS in the same way he washes, that he got beat just now.
Yeah, and that's a big jump for Cyril Gane, but
or Alexei Olenek, he just lost too.
Rosenstruck versus Lewis is what I want to see.
Me too.
Yeah, Rosenstruck versus Lewis. Yeah,
they
absolutely.
haven't fought. Either of them winning versus each other puts them as a solid contender.
And it means they can both avoid blades.
Yeah,
exactly.
Exactly.
I heard that Blades and Lewis want to fight though. So if they do fight, I like to see Volkov versus Rosenstruck. It's a step backwards, but it's not that big of a step in terms of skill.
Yeah,
Volkov's a good striker as well, so it keeps him busy.
Yeah, and he can't fight over him.
Because no other matchups make sense. Because if Lewis fights Rosenstruck, Blades has to fight somebody. He just beat Volkov.
Dos Santos and Overeem would be a good fight too.
A rematch, yeah.
Yeah, I would watch Dos Santos versus Overeem. I think Overeem would probably
Yeah, but if Dos Santos can beat Overeem, it keeps him in the top.
Yeah.
I feel like Overeem's his ranking and his status is indestructible. He can be knocked out 3 times in a row, and he's still
he's number 6.
But the next thing you know, he knocks out the number 6 guy.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Well, because he's either his fights. I've never seen Overeem really in a bad, boring fight. He's always just getting blasted or blasting somebody. He never is really.
There's violence regardless.
Yeah, and that's why it's hard not to root for him too. He's just been 60-something fights or whatever.
Yeah, I used to hate him when he was Ubereem because it was like, dude, you're just clearly cheating.
Yeah,
it's so obvious. But now I've grown to love him.
Yeah, 3 times the size of what you were.
Right.
I don't know how his brain is not mush though by this point. He's been knocked out so many times. His brain, he's still clear-headed, and he gets back on the horse, fights 3 months later, regardless of being sent to the Shadow Realm.
Clear-headed, much easier to understand than Stipe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When they're talking, he's much easier to understand. Half the time when Stipe's talking, I'm like, what?
Sometimes when Stipe is talking, he looks like he doesn't have any teeth.
Yeah. And he sounds like it too.
Yeah,
you're not enunciating.
If you were to ask me somebody though, who do you feel like encaptures a samurai spirit, like Overeem, literally.
Yeah.
Lifelong martial artist, knocked out 12 times, doesn't matter, fights till his 40s. That's a crazy ass career.
How old is he
still
40 now.
He's 40.
Yeah.
Still fast enough and skilled enough to be one of those top strikers, if not the top striker in the heavyweight division.
Right.
He just can't beat the top guys all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
But me and Kyle mentioned it too. If JDS or Overeem fought Stipe, I wouldn't be so sure if Stipe would beat them again. I wouldn't, just based off skill, because Stipe is good, but he always looks like he's a little bit losing and not really he's not as dominant as he should be in a fight.
I think
It's just the way
I like his chances against JDS, but Overeem, I think that could be a coin flip, really.
It could be,
And I would put
JDS just doesn't deal with pressure well, and as soon as Stipe starts really pushing forward, and he's just backing straight up.
Yeah, but it wouldn't be the most shocking thing to see him land a KO punch on him.
Well, they're actually 1-1. I remember JDS beat Stipe by decision back in the day.
Yeah.
So they're 1-1. So realistically, he's beat him before. He can beat him again. But I wouldn't put money on it.
JDS versus Overeem makes sense though. 2 old guys in the division, kind of like It's kind of like a retirement match. All right, whoever wins,
and it'll sell.
I think Overeem has a fight now though.
Yeah. Probably think he does.
I think they announced his fight. He always fights some random fighter sometimes. He beat Sergey Pavlovich, and it's that guy was just debuting. Why is he fighting Overeem?
Right. Well, because who's Overeem going to fight?
Yeah.
Rosenstrike, I do want to see him fight Lewis. I think that's
I would much rather see that than either of them fight Blades.
Well, because Blades' position is it's fixed, right? You know what I mean? It's we know where he's at. If we get Lewis versus Rosenstrike, that propels one of those two. It keeps contenders out there in the heavyweight division instead of putting Blades versus either one of those guys who he probably just wrestles.
Wrestle fucks and it's over. Yeah.
Well, I saw that Overeem's fighting Augusto Sakai, number.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So that makes sense.
So Dos Santos is going to drop down even further than that.
Probably. Walt Harris.
Volkov, you were talking about, right?
I like to see
Walt Harris versus Dos Santos.
I like to see because Blades just beat he just beat Volkov, so they can't fight. Lewis has already beat Volkov, so they shouldn't fight either. So Blades and Lewis makes more sense for the division in terms of fresh matchups.
Right.
And then Rosenstrike
and
versus
it sounds
Volkov.
like they both want to do that fight, which I hate, but
Lewis Rosenstrike is just fun.
Yeah.
It's more fun. It just
and again keep them both away from Blades.
Yeah. We can't stalemate Blades' career because
Walt Harris
he's
versus
boring.
Junior
Why
Dos
not?
Santos wouldn't be bad though. I think Walt Harris versus Dos Santos. I like that.
Yeah, Walt Harris is. I think Walt Harris is actually fighting.
I think
Volkov.
he has a fight too.
I think he's fighting Volkov.
Oh, you know what? I think you're right.
This booking is hard to do.
Well, Dos Santos probably. I mean, he's probably out for a little bit anyway. You still might be able to line one of those guys up. They're both about to fight it real soon with each other.
I actually mentioned it for a second, but Alexei Oleinik versus Dos Santos is a good fresh matchup, and it's easy win. It's actually an easy win for JDS, I think.
Oleinik.
Yeah.
Think?
Yeah,
Well,
he's not getting taken down by.
Yeah,
Oleinik.
I mean, he's got that black belt.
Yeah, and he's also a very well-renowned black belt on the ground.
I swear.
I swear.
Yeah, at least I heard.
Everybody knows. Come on.
The most prestigious McDonald's he got it from in Brazil,
Cracker Jack black belts.
I think he actually got it from Nogueira.
which is like
Everybody's got a fucking black belt.
yeah. If you're Brazilian, it'd be more weird if you were a Brazilian and didn't have a black belt randomly. You know, I think Jose Aldo has a black belt, and I don't disagree. Like, I don't think he doesn't, but also like. Fucking when, you know?
When,
like,
yeah, never used it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they all got it from Black House Gym.
Yeah.
Back in the day. All right. But yeah, so
Vera versus O'Malley now.
yeah,
so
Vera versus O'Malley.
135.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Vera probably needs. I mean, if you beat O'Malley, who's 14, so that bring up based on that ranking, it's weird because I think they put O'Malley in that top 15 just because he was fighting the co-main event.
Yeah,
he wasn't ranked before. I don't think.
I thought he was at 15.
But I don't know why, because Eddie Wineland wasn't even nowhere near that.
Yeah.
And like the way they move up, I don't understand that science they have there.
Yeah, I don't know what the algorithm is.
Right.
I would like to see Vera face the Sun Sal. I think that's a good fight.
Yeah.
And both coming off losses. Cruz versus O'Malley, battle brittle legs. That's a good fight.
I just,
Whoever gets injured
it's hard
first
to say
wins.
what O'Malley. You know what I mean? It's hard to even guess who O'Malley's going to fight because he might be out for a while.
Yeah.
A year or two. I don't know how long he's gonna be out
Might be a
for.
while.
That's around, Dominic Cruz just fought, so that's around his time frame.
Yeah, it's every 4 years.
Yeah.
Presidential election
Right.
timetable he has.
Yeah. So I agree with both of those. I think that was pretty easy.
But it's like I don't know. O'Malley, he probably needs to fight. I actually would like to see, like I said earlier, Merab versus O'Malley. He needs to not fight a striker. He needs to fight somebody who's going to shoot that takedown the whole fight. That's a good test for in the future. Like he needs to fight somebody like that because we don't know how good his grappling is.
And it might give his legs a rest.
Okay, so
or make him worse.
Muniz is fighting Edgar.
Yeah.
Where Edgar's not even ranked.
No.
Yeah, okay.
Well, Edgar.
How's Edgar gonna fight a top fight? You know what I mean, just
based off the fact he's Frankie Edgar.
Yeah. Is it his
Still good
first
fight.
fight at this weight class?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's kind of shitty that Frankie Edgar keeps on moving around weight classes, and every division has Jose Aldo just sitting in the division too. Like, can you get a break without a division without Jose Aldo just being there as well?
Right. Well, it just sucks because Frankie Edgar was literally beating the who's who of that weight class, featherweight, but they couldn't beat Aldo.
Yeah, now Aldo moves down too, and it's like
following each other.
Son of a bitch.
they're gonna cut down the flyweight eventually together, just lurking behind him in the shadows.
Right.
But yeah, I mean that division's pretty stacked.
Yeah.
I like to see more movement. And same thing with featherweight. Featherweight has no movement. No one fights each other. It's like I've been hearing about Korean Zombie versus Brian Ortega. It seems like for 2 years. That fight's been trying to be made for at least a year.
I still think that's got to be the Volkanovski fight.
Well, they just announced Korean Zombie versus Brian Ortega for October. So
So they did actually announce it.
yeah,
finally?
October 13th. I think they said it was. But I mean, in my mind, no fight in that division's ever lined up until they actually get in the cage. Like there's no fight that's ever going to happen until they actually fight. You know?
All right, so we might as well get to Stipe, huh?
Yeah, Stipe has to fight Ngannou next.
Yeah, that's it.
No, that's
well, to me, like I said, dude, if Jones wants that, I think Jones has more claim to it based on who Jones is. Ngannou's already fought Stipe and lost. I do not that I don't think Ngannou can't beat Stipe this time. I just think Jones is like, how do you not do that fight if Jones wants it and Stipe wants a big payday? I mean, I'm not saying he does. I'm saying if he does want one.
But I think Francis Ngannou's a big payday as well, to be honest with you. I think Francis Ngannou's star is massive right now. I think he has earned his way back to a title shot.
Oh, yeah.
More than most people have.
Yeah, for sure.
Actually, more than DC had. I mean, like, really, it's like DC didn't have any fights before.
Now, if I'm betting on which fight happens, Ngannou versus Stipe is the fight I think would happen. Jones talking shit doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, and Dana White has said that
he said it's Ngannou. I mean, but
I don't believe Jones is ever going to go up.
I don't know.
I think he will eventually. I just don't know.
I heard he's powerlifting and shit again. So.
Yeah, he is doing his deadlifts and whatnot.
But I was thinking about it. I would like to see, like, after Stipe fights Ngannou and say he gets past him again. Like, there's not that many fights in the division for him left. I would like to see, like, Ryan Bader versus Stipe. Just it would never happen. Just like there's no fresh matchups in the heavyweight. Heavyweight's so stale. To have a champion versus champion fight, He could easily knock out Ryan Bader, but there's not that much money fights for Stipe.
Yeah, honestly, the two things lined up are Jones and Ngannou.
Right.
Whatever happens.
So whatever happens and he goes through those things, it's like who else is left?
If he
Blades?
does, imagine if he beats Ngannou again and then does beat Jones again. I'd just walk off into the sunset at that point.
Yeah, well, because honestly,
he'll be 40 by that point.
Yeah,
too,
and you're
probably.
just like, you are the greatest of all time at that point.
And honestly, even if Ngannou wins that, then who the fuck does Ngannou fight?
Right. Blades
Jones.
again?
Blades again?
Jones.
Derek Lewis?
Yeah.
Needs to be
Rosenstrike? All these guys that...
He pasted
This
it.
is also why I want to just get the Jones fight out of the way, because what if Ngannou beats Stipe? I think Jones would be like, never mind. Fuck you.
I'm not fighting that guy.
Fuck that.
Well, if you's a bitch, you a bitch then,
Yeah.
right? What are you, what are you
But
gonna
I
do?
want to see Jones versus Stipe, so just get it over with.
I mean, heavyweight just needs some fresh blood up
I
there.
just want to
'cause
see what
everyone's
would
been-
happen with Jones at heavyweight. I want to know.
Yeah.
I want to get
It
that.
seems like most people have knocked each other out in the top 10. It's just everyone's knocked each other out at least once.
Or Ngannou's just knocked you out.
Yeah, yeah. You've never knocked Ngannou out.
But he's knocked you out.
It's just like less compelling matchups in that division because it's just like, well, Francis beat all these guys,
but
and then
it's, like Ngannou's again just wiping everybody off the face of the earth. Round one. What is it? Can Stipe just wrestle him the whole time and beat him again?
I mean, possibly, but it looks, he definitely has improved as a fighter.
Yeah, I think he's definitely a different animal now.
I don't see Stipe like, I don't know, Stipe. It's like It's like if he gets caught, if he strikes for too long, it's the chance of getting pasted is just gonna be there.
Yeah,
the whole fight, like he gets hit a lot. For heavyweight, he gets hit so much.
He just got hit a whole lot by DC,
and that's why I was so annoying last night because you see like, I know you hate it, but they talk about the greatest heavyweight of all time. I'm like, dude, it just last night I was watching it and I'm like, dude, there's no way these guys are the best. Like, dude, call me biased, but Fedor, prime 2005 Fedor, would knock the shit out of Stipe.
I think Stipe would fuck him up.
I think Stipe would
no,
fuck him up
the
too.
hand speed and the skill level.
What the fuck does Fedor do better than Cormier? Even like Cormier would fuck Fedor.
You can say hand speed, and maybe Fedor does have some hand speed, but he slows it down by his only punch is really wide looping hooks.
Yeah.
It's all he throws.
But he had a great submission and sambo game.
Yeah,
faster, more explosive. I mean, Stipe literally has good boxing, but like he has no plan B. He has good wrestling and an okay ground and pound, but he has no submissions. He has no variety. He's not really explosive.
But the same skill level, both of them in their prime, with Fedor still throwing regardless those big wild looping hooks. I feel like Stipe just steps inside of that all day long.
I think he'd crush him.
I think if you can get caught by a punch by freaking Struve, it's like Stipe.
Well, that's forever ago.
Right, but I'm just saying, like, it's just prime versus prime.
Prime versus prime. That was the Struve was not in his prime.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I mean,
Stipe wasn't in his
but
prime.
That's what I mean.
When would you say Stipe's prime was?
Once he starts winning all of his fights.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean that's easy to say, but I think that Fedor's fights, his prime was before he started losing all the fights he lost. You know, so it depends on.
But that's what I'm saying. But even when Fedor was winning all those fights, he fought a lot a lot of good people. Don't get me wrong.
He fought
I'm not
7
saying
former
that.
UFC champions.
Yeah, but he
that's
also
back in the day.
he also fought a lot of gimmick fights.
But the 30-0 with some gimmick fights is still better than, 11-0 or whatever it is. You know, you think about.
Pull up Fedor. I would go to his Wikipedia.
I mean, he's got Ngannou and Crow Cops and.
But you think about what Stipe does, and like
Kevin Randall
doesn't have Ngannou.
No, Fedor. Yeah, Fedor has.
Oh, not
Prime
Ngannou. Nogueira.
Yeah, Prime Nog twice. He has Crow Cop, Kevin Randleman, Mark Coleman twice. These are all great. You think about.
I don't
Stipe,
think Mark Coleman.
That's what I'm saying.
But you think about
Mark Coleman would get fucking crushed
today.
But what does Stipe do? That's like Stipe or Prime Crow Cop. Like, what's he do better? He has good boxing. That's basically what he has.
Yeah.
Like you think about.
I just think he would be able to because
it's weird because it doesn't look like Stipe does anything spectacular.
Right.
He just he just whips everybody's ass.
But Fedor.
Fedor, yeah.
But Fedor always his whole career he wasn't throwing straight punches. He throws like this.
Yeah.
Like this, and with Stipe's boxing, I believe Stipe steps inside of that.
I don't know. He's just way slower. Like it's like.
But you don't when you're throwing those looping punches, you don't have to be fast to get inside on them.
I think Fedor's just too small for it, dude. Like Cormier
go down.
struggles
We're gonna look
because
at
of the size. If Cormier was bigger, I think he'd beat Stipe.
mixed martial arts record.
You know what I mean? Because I feel like Cormier is a light heavyweight, really. Like,
Yeah.
But so is Fedor. Fedor is probably.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I think it's a real fucking heavyweight.
And also,
versus
here's what I'll bring up too.
So slide down. Go down here.
Kevin Randleman, Mark
Okay.
Coleman, Antonio.
Probably
McGregor.
right around there. So Mark Coleman, I'm sorry, I don't really care.
Nothing. Mark
But-
Hunt. I mean, Stipe fought all the same kind of competition.
But he knocked out Prime. That's Prime Orlovsky. That's literally a fight away from his
yeah,
title
but I don't
shot.
think Prime Arlovsky beat Stipe.
Yeah.
But like, I mean,
And then then one of those other champions that you're talking about is Tim Sylvia.
Yeah,
You're talking about Kevin Randleman.
but like Tim Sylvia was the most winning UFC champion
but
before
he's-
Stipe was. So that's not a bad win in the division. He's not that good, but the division's not that good.
Right, but
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Comparatively to the skill set of the heavyweights that we see today, Tim Sylvia is a joke.
yeah.
But-
like Ngannou would flatten most of these guys.
Okay, yeah, but is like Tim Sylvia is a joke in retrospect, but like, could he not beat a random heavyweight in the UFC division? It's not that good. It's just not that deep. You know, they're not that like some of them
I don't
aren't
think
that
I
good.
don't
He beats
know.
any of the
I don't know.
top 10,
I don't think he
really.
beats any of the top 10.
But Prime Orlovsky still beats heavyweights, and Tim Sylvia beat Prime Orlovsky.
yeah.
Orlovsky still wins. You know, he still wins fights in the
Yeah.
division,
Yeah.
and that's not Prime
Yeah.
Orlovsky. And Tim Sylvia beat Prime Orlovsky.
Yeah, but even like Arlovsky, like who I mean,
He's advanced his game. Though,
he's
you know?
advanced his game. He's learned to be a better defensive fighter, but also who you say like he still beats random heavyweights, but that's what he's beating is random heavyweights in the UFC. I mean, he's not beating top 10 guys.
Yeah.
Right, but I don't know. I just feel like, you know, it also depends on if they fought in a ring, Fedor would have more advantages than if
Yeah.
they fought in a cage. Stipe would have more advantages.
Yeah.
Just based off of how they fight. But like I'm telling you, look at Fedor's highlights. His hand speed was insane, and his explosiveness.
I think
was-
Cormier's is like really comparable though. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, go to YouTube
And cleaner.
Yeah, and I just feel like Fedor's too small. Like I that's the thing is I feel like those guys were all kind of smaller. Like heavyweight wasn't.
go to
Those big guys just weren't even fighting at that point, or they were big
go
lumbering.
the greatest of them all. That's
if you
a good
were
highlight.
that weight, you were just a big
Right there.
like. There just wasn't the athletes that size. Now we have athletes that are huge. Like,
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, I was watching because someone posted this on Sherdog in one of the threads, and like it just if you compare the fight last night versus his speed and explosiveness, it was not close. If you skip ahead, this is probably him training for fucking. Wait.
Well, this is gonna be a bunch of bullshit too. though.
We're gonna see some of him fighting some really
Right,
funny
right.
people.
No, look at that.
Yeah, his hand speed looks real fast against that guy.
But like you can laugh at it, but that's the time period of like.
Yeah,
fights.
but that doesn't say anything about.
But
what
do you
he would
see?
do today.
Look at his punches.
He got kicked in the gut. By
He does not have clean punches.
That wasn't even, like he was probably out of his prime at that point after
yeah,
Pride.
this fight, yeah, this was like towards the end, just beginning of the end though.
But like his submission skills and sambo skills.
Yeah, he was good on the ground for sure. But he'd like flash submit people, you know, catching guys. I don't think he catch Stipe.
No.
I mean,
And he literally he's
Uh,
look at Tim Sylvia.
but like Tim Sylvia was
on,
just
dude.
heavyweight champion. Like you guys shit on it, but like you have to be shitting on.
I just think the athletes are a better caliber.
I'm definitely
though.
shitting on the UFC's heavyweight diviation at
But-
that point in time,
Yeah.
without a
But
doubt.
we see the rankings every week, and we still see like Overeem and shit like that. People who fought back then.
Yeah, but he
just
wasn't
think he
fighting
gets
in the
fucking
UFC
blasted,
back
dude.
then.
Who?
Overeem.
Right, he was in Pride,
Yeah.
but Pride had a better division. Look,
Right. See, I'm not saying Fedor wasn't good. I'm not saying he wasn't
This
powerful.
guy-
But also when you watch those fights where he was on the feet still with the guys, has a zero defense.
but that ground and pound is way better than anyone in the heavyweight division right
Yeah,
now.
but I just don't see him doing that to Stipe at all. He's not
Yeah.
big enough to. That's what I'm saying. I think we've got bigger athletes now, like guys that are actual
But
big
Stipe is
heavyweights.
230. He's 230.
Yeah, well, but
he was the
but
thinnest
way,
he ever was.
But Cormier
Yeah, but
is
the
also
way
at
Stipe's
230.
built he's huge,
But-
dude.
Dude, that's so fluid, like so much faster than Stipe. I don't understand you don't see it.
Yeah. I see that he's probably faster. I do see that, but I
so
just
is Cormier.
don't think.
Cormier's fast.
Cormier's faster than Stipe as well.
But,
yes,
but Cormier wasn't moving like that last night. There's no way he wasn't moving around like that.
there were some points hand speed wise.
Yeah,
His striking is definitely a little better than I remember, but he also, his hands are just down.
But I think he was 40 there, and he's still explosive as shit.
I just think Stipe easily weathers that and fucking clocks him.
Yeah.
But I don't think. Okay, here's what I'll say. I don't think that
we can get out of this.
Yeah, that's fine. But I don't think that Fedor. It's not a clear cut thing because it's hard to gauge time periods.
Yeah, it's a different time.
Right, but it's not. But I don't think heavyweights are so skilled now that it's laughable that Fedor isn't right up there.
And I feel like,
what I mean?
but I feel like those skilled heavyweights back then were basically light heavyweights. Like they're just like
Prime Krokop was not a light heavyweight.
No, neither was Nogueira.
No,
well, they're just not like they're. I don't know.
But those are two examples.
But those are great wins. Like you compare the Prime Krokop, he's a better striker than most people Stipe has ever fought. Seriously, he was an amazing striker, and Fedor beat him.
Yeah.
Prime Nogueira was just as good as Verdum on the ground. He beat Verdum back in the day. So Prime Nogueira was one of the best wins ever in heavyweight division.
But even Prime Nogueira didn't really have great stand-up. Like his brother Little Nog had the better stand-up.
Well, they had both decent boxing, But Fedor sat in his guard and beat the shit out of Prime Nogueira. Yeah. That's impressive. I'm not saying that he's clear. Like it just watching last night, I couldn't help but be reminded how slow they are.
Here's my thing. So Cormier, Ngannou, Blades, Overeem. Honestly, good chance Derek Lewis.
Dos Santos.
Dos Santos. I truly believe that those guys would beat most of the guys that he fought in their prime.
Me too.
Maybe, but also I don't think that it depends on.
I think Volkov beats a lot of those guys in their prime.
But Derek Lewis,
I'd say Derek Lewis is a question mark for me.
Yeah, because Derek Lewis is good, but he's not even that far removed from someone like Brett Rogers who just swings big punches. Seriously, it's true.
No. I Derek Lewis. I think I skipped over his name, and there was a reason for it.
And Overeem too. Overeem got knocked out by Ben Rothwell. It's Fedor can catch him with a good fast punch and rock him. Just something like that.
Yeah. But I'm saying the competition that Fedor faced, I believe, 9 times out of 10, Stipe, Cormier, Ngannou, Curtis Blades, Dos Santos in his prime. Yeah. I'll start Overeem. I'll say it too, and honestly, I might even say Volkov.
Would
beat those guys. Rosenstrike would beat those guys. Verdum would beat those guys. I think.
Prime Krokop probably does Rosenstrike.
And then you got.
I'd say Prime Krokop versus Rosenstrike.
Prime Krokop, of all that list of people, is a way better striker than most of those people.
But I think the rest of them are more well-rounded. I think Curtis Blades beats the fuck out of Krokop.
Yeah. But Curtis, it's just like Krokop had the best.
I think Ngannou probably beats the shit out of Krokop. But I think Daniel Cormier probably beats the shit out of Krokop.
Here's the distinction though. Krokop.
I think Dos Santos has a really good shot at Krokop.
Yeah.
And that's one guy out of the people that we're talking about that Fedor fought, and they've all beat the fuck out of each other.
But Stipe, it's weird because Stipe beat past the hill fighters, versions of these fighters.
Some of them.
Like he beat Junior Dos Santos, knocked him out after JDS was out of his prime.
way after Cain Velasquez.
He beat Verdum when Verdum was pretty much out of his prime. He was 39, 38 years old.
Yeah. Well, but he came off the best he ever looked.
It's mainly Stipe's title reign and defenses that makes me think he's
Ngannou, Cormier.
Right. I just don't think that divisions are that I feel like in general the 2005 heavyweight division in Pride was stronger than this division here.
I do not think so.
No,
I don't know, man. It's closer than what we might think.
I think maybe at the time. No, maybe at the time I was gonna say maybe at the time they were more competitive with each other, but I don't. I think
also the division
I think
the
division
skill level itself has moved up
since
Brock Lesnar and Mir. I think those guys advanced it a little bit. I mean, Lesnar was going against guys like Shane Carwin, that was his biggest competition. But Shane Carwin, I don't think fucks with any of these guys today.
There's no way Shane Carwin versus Volkov. He could easily knock out Volkov. Volkov's good, but
he could easily.
That's why Volkov's down there.
He could easily knock out Volkov, but Volkov I would say all around is a better striker.
But Sergey Karatanov, knocked the fuck out of Overeem back in Pride when he still was Overeem. He was a heavyweight at that point.
Yeah.
Well,
so,
I think heavyweight's just kind of chaotic as it is.
Well,
Any guy,
and we've all talked about Alistar Overeem's jaw.
Yeah.
Right.
It's questionable sometimes
Exactly.
and great sometimes.
But like skill wise though, like Fedor was definitely more skilled than Stipe. Skill wise, like his sambo and his submissions.
Yeah, some of that shit
like,
for sure.
Like it's.
I just don't think he's the
fighter.
athlete that Stipe is. Like I don't know, man.
But
I think Stipe would outbox him.
If you just like look at he just isn't that he's not great at anything. He's good at boxing. He's good at wrestling. He has no submission
he's really
skills.
well-rounded.
Yeah.
But like I don't know. I feel like
Stipe's a pretty good wrestler though. Like
he's a good wrestler, but he's not a great wrestler.
yeah.
Like.
But I feel like his size and his wrestling ability nullifies anything Fedor.
I just think skill wise, all round skill, these guys are just better because they've been doing it longer because it's more advanced than it was in the first fucking 4 years of MMA.
Yeah.
Skill wise though, Francis hits hard, but like skill wise, he's not that much. He's not better than
he's
Krokop.
a freak athlete,
Yeah, but he's a freak.
But like, it's very evident that whenever Stipe takes down Francis for 5 rounds, has no submission threat, nothing on top. He just sits on top and basically lands rabbit punches. Like, so watching a fight like that,
Fedor definitely has the ability to possibly submit somebody. For
right?
Sure.
That's what I mean. Like, you just look at the fight like that, and it's like, well, is this impressive? Like, you think about it's impressive for like the fact that Francis is big and strong.
Yeah.
That's it. Skill wise though, Francis is a white belt.
wrestle
He's a white belt on the ground.
Yeah.
He should have submitted him in round 2. He just should have.
Yeah.
And like it goes to show that it's like, well, how far is that away from? It's a lot of it's like revisionist. Like, well, Tim Sylvia sucks, but Tim Sylvia also had the record before Stipe did, and also beat Prime Arlovsky.
But
he sucks.
But the heavyweights were just so bad back then. Arlovsky, I think, was probably the most skilled on the feet at the time in UFC.
Yeah, you had like some elite guys, but like a lot of their competition was just
But
and again with Arlovsky, if he goes to the ground, it's going to be an issue for him most of the time. I mean, he's a sambo background, but he's not a practitioner of it the same way that Fedor is a practitioner of it.
Yeah, but Prime Arlovsky's hands were. I mean, I'm not trying to drag this. It's not an argument. It's something that I thought was, watching last night and just noticing. It's like, that's why I feel like the heavyweight title fight, like saying this is the baddest man on the planet. Yeah, but it's like,
well, based on his title defenses and getting back to the title and then defending again, like, I don't know. The numbers and on paper it says that he is the
only because
best.
the elevated stature of the
what
UFC.
they say is he's the best UFC heavyweight
Right.
of all time.
Right.
They do
Which-
make that distinction.
Well, some do, some don't. Actually, I hear it both ways.
Yeah, it is both ways.
But like, it's just because the stature of the UFC and like the way they run the organization, it upholds the title of UFC champion and UFC wins and UFC this as so much higher than, and that's a great marketing ploy from the UFC. It's a great way to make their brand bigger than everyone else.
Yeah, winning in the UFC should matter more than anywhere else.
But
it's
does
it's
now,
shown
for sure.
and it's shown to be true in a lot of cases. A lot of champions.
But back in the Pride days,
it wasn't.
It
just wasn't. Pride had a better heavyweight division back then,
Yeah.
and Fedor beat all those guys in Pride.
Yeah.
And like it just
back then, Pride had the better heavyweight division
sure.
for sure.
And it's very
Now when Fedor went to Strikeforce, UFC
was catching up with Carwin, Lesnar.
Yeah.
And,
they had Frank Mir, Cain Velasquez started to come in, Dos Santos started to come in.
But like it just DC was from Strikeforce too, so you can't really say much. And DC was
he
one of the
ran
best
through all
heavyweights.
that shit though.
But
Bigfoot,
a lot of the heavyweights that DC ran through in that heavyweight tournament were there for the tournament.
Right.
They didn't actually really fight in Strikeforce.
Well, like Barnett though is like one of the best wins of DC's career. I think.
For sure.
Just
in the way he beat him,
right?
For sure.
And that's like I think that DC, like watching that DC, that was a better DC. Than
he
actually
might have been
now.
able to beat Steve.
Right, because his wrestling his cardio was so much better.
He wasn't 40.
And like what's funny is like I think that DC
the baddest man on the planet
is a worse fight for Prime Fedor than Stipe probably is.
Oh yeah, I think so too.
I think that DC from that heavyweight tournament was a problem for anybody and everybody.
Right. And like I'm not so jaded towards like if Stipe fought Fedor in the Prime and then he won or like would I say that Fedor is going to win 100% of the time? No, but I don't think it's like they're like A1 in 1A, 1B.
Cormier is a better version of Fedor though. Like
without submissions probably.
Yeah.
I mean he had better wrestling,
better wrestling and I think better technical striking.
Yeah, right.
I don't know because his striking it's good, but like
He can make a lot of adjustments though. Like he just like I don't know.
He has better training probably, and like it just depends on the time period. Like he's a better camp. He probably is a better athlete than Fedor, but Fedor's striking was lethal, and DC's is good. But like sometimes he does like his striking defense consists of
Stipe.
right.
But like evidence would say that was a shot from nowhere that Stipe just was not fucking expecting at all.
Because he caught a couple of that same punch in this last fight.
He knew it was coming and he took it well. Like honestly, it was unbelievable how much Stipe was able to keep taking those shots.
And Stipe's chin's pretty good.
Yeah, it's really fucking good.
And,
if he didn't have that good a chin, he wouldn't be what he is.
But like DC's like striking defense last night was literally like sticking his hand out and bending over to the side. I'm like, that's not.
His striking defense was not very good.
And like neither was Stipe's.
But that's the thing. It's like you kind of want. It's like why didn't
Stipe
Stipe mix it up a little more, throw some uppercuts? Like there just wasn't a lot. Like they didn't change much of what they were doing. Like I don't know.
It was less stagnant than the fight before that. The fight before the second fight was very stagnant. It was one realm of fighting the whole time, and literally the same thing over and over again until the end. That's what it seemed like. It was just phone booth boxing, awkward
I was on
punching.
the edge of my seat last.
Oh yeah, I was too. Yeah. I was afraid Stipe was getting knocked out.
Yeah,
so was I, especially towards the end.
I felt like Stipe was winning, but every time the exchanges would come, I'd be like, "Oh no, he's
Well, he kept on falling in the same trap of like keeping his hands down, breaking off of these clinch situations.
I'm like, put your hands in the way when you're breaking apart. Like,
right?
What are you doing?
Well, and that's why when he started pushing him up against the cage, he was holding that hand. He just wouldn't let it go.
I think we could probably say heavyweight's probably the worst male division. That and flyweight. I would say so in terms of skill level. Yeah. Well, flyweight's probably actually more skilled than
it's what's so funny about them because they always say like the heavyweight champion is the baddest man on the planet, but really
skill wise,
maybe middleweight.
Middleweight's pretty shallow right now.
Shallow,
yeah, it is pretty shallow. I mean, right now, but still.
But I think the fighters there are better, more skilled than fighters in heavyweight, just in general. Like you think about somebody like I guess like Costa, his boxing is probably better than anyone at heavyweights.
Yeah,
you know. It's like Stipe, though. I feel like,
and who knows? Maybe one day you'll see Costa there. That man is huge.
He's like 230 pounds.
He walks around at 230.
That's insane.
Fights at 185. The only one crazier is
That's
Anthony
like 50
Rumble.
pounds. Dude.
The only one crazier is Anthony Rumble Johnson fighting at welterweight, 170. How is he ever fighting at 170?
Dude, Costa versus Jones would be a great ass fight.
Yeah, I think it would.
I think Jones would beat him, but Costa versus Jones, I'd like to see him fight.
Well, you're gonna get kind of a sample of that.
A small version of that without any wrestling offense.
Right. All right, so should we move on to the next card?
Yeah, we'll go through that. It's not. I don't think it's not the greatest card.
For some reason, I thought there were two good fights on it.
There was a Hall Romero fight, and I don't know. That's. Dude, it's pretty.
Yeah. Oh, that was supposed to be Hall Romero on this one too.
St. Preux. What happened with his last fight?
He fought at heavyweight, looked terrible.
Yeah, that was
he lost.
So he's back down at light heavyweight.
Yeah, and Alonzo Minifield actually has a win over, the Scottish guy. What's his name again?
Shit, our guy.
Yeah.
Our guy. What the fuck is his name?
Oh, the great.
He's got a very plain name.
Paul Craig.
Paul Craig.
Yeah.
Paul Craig.
He actually knocked out Paul Craig. So.
Okay.
But he lost to Devin Clark. Such is the case of light heavyweight, where you just look good for one fight and then look terrible in the next fight.
Well,
I think he gassed out real bad in the Devin Clark
fight. Hopefully Evans is in shape in this fight.
So what's the first fight though? Daniel Rodriguez versus Takashi Soto.
I don't have much to say about this.
Me neither. So yeah, Oliver St. Preux versus Minifield.
It says Frankie Edgar's ranked number 8 at bantamweight right there.
Well, that's weird.
That's just the discrepancy in the website. They don't know. They don't update one part.
God damn UFC.
But they make up another part of the website that's accurate.
I will never not root for Frankie Edgar. There's just no way. I can't. I
don't want to see how he looks at 135 though. I feel like he's just so old now that the extra weight cut's going to be bad for him. 38.
It's crazy that it seems like he always does it with ease though, because even when he was, I mean, then again he was too big. He was too small for
155.
Yeah, for 155 really. But
is this his
but
first
was a champion there. Did well.
Yeah, it's his first fight.
I thought he's fought at 135.
No, he fought Korean Zombie last one, was knocked out, I think.
I can't believe he hadn't already been at 135.
He was supposed to fight, I think, Corey Sandhagen before he took the Korean Zombie fight on short notice when Ortega dropped out. That was in December, I believe. He was knocked out in like the first round.
Yeah, he could look good though.
Yeah, that's it.
He could look good. I don't think he can't. Like he's gonna lose. I don't think that for sure.
Yeah.
But I don't trust. I never trust him when he's 38 and making a weight cut.
He's
for the first
likely
time.
the underdog
Yeah.
in the fight.
Yeah,
I would imagine he is. Yeah.
It's like you can't trust the weight cut on a 38-year-old body to get them in top shape.
It's just he's
I'm surprised he didn't.
He's
do it
weirdly
earlier.
skilled. Like his constant movement is usually a
Head
problem for
movements,
people.
like-
Yeah, it looks weird, but it seems to really cause people problems.
But he also got off on being the fastest fighter in the fight at that time, and like I don't think he's gonna be as fast at bantamweight. These guys
Yeah.
are fast as shit. So
I'll tell you,
He should have some
he
power,
still
though.
has some of the most amazing fights to me though. Those wars with Gray Maynard
Yeah,
were
it was
unbelievable.
wild.
that was like the end of Gray Maynard's prime, actually. By the way,
Yeah,
he was knocked
yeah,
right
dude.
out of
He
his
never did better. Like
No.
he never got even close to the title.
I just remember him
picture.
saying like he's like I hit him with everything. He's like I don't know, is there like a hammer underneath the cage? Like
like yeah, that was wild. It was
Yeah.
a wild.
It's
fight.
his actually best like win though. It's weird that he knocked out Chad Mendes in Chad Mendes' prime.
Oh, yeah.
That's nuts.
Edgar
that's nuts.
did, or-
Yeah, he knocked him out in the first
Yeah.
round. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Because Mendes has a great chin. Fought Aldo twice. He got
Yeah.
knocked out once, but that was a war. That second Aldo fight with Chad Mendes was amazing.
yeah, he took some good punches from Conor McGregor too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think he gassed a lot in that fight more than
He did, yeah, and he
Damn.
took it on short notice.
Like-
but then again, so did Conor.
Yeah,
Took-
it's a wash,
took it on,
yeah.
took it on short notice, and it was a completely different fight than he was expecting. He went from fighting Jose Aldo, who's purely striking, to a guy who's purely wrestling. Just about
Yeah.
decent stand up, but the guy's a wrestler.
Yeah,
So yeah, that's
feels like a forever ago, doesn't it?
Yeah, fuck.
Fucking lifetime ago.
Yeah.
There's fighters probably in the UFC like Sean O'Malley probably was like 12.
Oh, right, right.
It feels like he was like wasn't even fighting then.
Well, I guess that's really about it for that card. Huh?
Yeah.
What's after that?
The 20 that has a card.
Holly Holm.
Yeah,
fight
let's look
after
at
that?
the rest of the events here.
We do this every time we have no memory of the other
Yeah.
fights. So
I
it's just
know.
like, it's just like, see what the next card is. Fucking.
Oh shit!
Nah, there's the cards in
No,
between.
yeah.
Remember we did this last
The
week
Wikipedia.
with the Wikipedia. We got the Wikipedia. If you
You
go to
gotta
Wikipedia and go to UFC events,
Events
Yeah.
list.
they'll have a more accurate listing than this
So
website.
fucking ridiculous. UFC, Dana White. Like seriously, hire Jacob. Hire one of us sitting in this room.
Jacob, would you take that job?
I mean, they'll probably pay pretty good, dude. I would imagine.
You'd have to take the job with Dana White updating the website, right?
maybe.
You'd have to imagine it would pay pretty well.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
there's at least be like 60,000 a year, I think, or some.
What
I
they,
bet you'd be more
they
than
would,
that.
80,000
like,
maybe.
They would think they were getting away really cheap, and you'd be like, "This is the most money I ever."
Yeah.
Oh, listen, for how bad it is now, I think they should pay 6 figures for that job.
Yeah.
Because it's bad. They
Yeah.
really need help.
Obviously.
We're the only people that use it though.
Are the
It'll
guys
just be for us.
Yeah, I think so.
are the guys just like well, if it was working correctly, more people would probably use it.
Probably. Yeah.
Because its format is pretty good to talk about fights if it's updated.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
There's stuff in between this. This is Costa Adesanya.
Yeah, what's the overall event
Fight
list?
nights. There it is.
Lift. There you go. Go just
Top thing. Yeah.
click on that. Just click on that list of UFC events up there, and then we'll scroll down. Scheduled events. So
I think it's August 29th,
175.
175. Yeah. Wait. Yeah, 175.
yeah, so 175. Go ahead and click on that one.
I think this is Holly Holm.
No, Anthony Smith versus
that's right.
Ratchik.
Anthony Smith.
Oh yeah, but then again, also
Nothing.
Oh well, no
Neil
Magny.
Magny and Lawler. Okay, so Magny had another
Dude, in
opponent-
that
He had
Laba fights were scheduled for that night.
that night.
Look,
What happened with that? Why did it not happen?
he
last
tested
time?
positive for COVID, so they pushed it back 2 weeks.
yeah,
2
And-
weeks.
Yeah.
yeah
How do
14
you-
days.
Well, but if you have it, you're just he's just
14
clear in 14 days.
Yeah, if he doesn't, if you don't have any
He's
symptoms,
asymptomatic.
typically if you don't have any symptoms, 14 days is really your window.
That's actually not a bad freaking little card.
Yeah, it's not bad.
It's better than this card coming up this week.
Yeah,
actually.
I mean, you got Ryan Hall, you got Christina Aguilera.
That
Neil
Cutelaba fight was interesting. I was kind of annoyed that didn't happen. Remember, that's the one with the bad stoppage.
yeah.
Yeah. So that fight's
So
week and a half, 2 weeks.
that makes this more interesting too.
And Neil Magny was supposed to fight Geoff Neal, but
Yeah, that's it.
that he had to
That's
get
a good
out.
fight, too,
so
now.
Robbie
But
Lawler.
now it's way more exciting. Robbie Lawler.
Yeah, I
cool.
love Robbie Lawler.
I like to see Lawler versus Jeff Neal. I don't care.
also
about Neil
also
Magny.
hard for me to root against Robbie Lawler.
Yeah.
I'm hoping Ryan Hall beats.
If Neil
Ricardo
Magny
Ramos.
can beat Robbie Lawler here, though, man, that's like he's on a solid 3-fight win streak.
Yeah, for sure.
Robbie Lawler, I'm afraid to see how he's gonna look though, because I like
am
him a
too.
lot. And I'm like,
I
man,
love Robbie
he's like
Lawler.
38 years old now, probably.
I think his nickname should have been the God of War, because there for a while, man, he was going
Check
through
out 176.
wars. Like,
This is, oh my god, this is the
This
one
is
card
the bad one.
that makes me throw up.
Yeah.
I'll watch this just because of Kama Worthy,
Yeah.
and that might be it. They've got to add
Shajara
something to
Eubank.
this.
I don't know if they will, man.
Dude, Nika Montana cannot be the main event of anything.
Oh, somebody's
Scroll up a little bit.
Oh yeah, actually, there's a.
Is
there's
it Cowboy fighting Nico Price?
Yeah,
Yes.
that's a great ass fight.
That's cool, man. I'm surprised that that's gonna happen at all, but
Overeem versus Augustus Sakai.
Alistar Overeem.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a little bit better. I like Overeem. I'll watch Overeem
Okay.
fight for free.
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
But still, yeah. Michelle Pereira. Do you guys know who that is?
No.
You guys, can you YouTube that Michelle Pereira guy? You guys need to see who that guy is.
I would definitely thought you were talking about a
the
woman.
woman.
No,
Yeah.
his name is Michelle. It looks like
Michelle.
Michael. Yeah.
Michelle.
Can you literally,
Michelle.
like Dave? You're gonna love this guy if you've never seen him fight. He's not very good, but he's highly entertaining.
He sucks, dude. So do you guys?
First of all, they said he's 29. He's not 29 years old.
oh, this guy.
He looks like-
he's a fucking maniac.
He looks
dude.
like an old ass man.
Ah, I
This
fucking love this.
This is what he
dude.
does, dude. He does.
Well,
this
he's kind of an asshole.
He's
though.
that guy from Tekken.
Dude.
he flips the whole fight and then gasses out every fight.
Yeah, like,
Like-
he does way too much, and like he's like solid. Like he's landing shit, and then like he just goofs around too much every time. I think that's happened to him like 2 or 3 times.
Look. Well, okay, there we go.
Yeah, this shit.
What the hell?
Dude, like,
He's not
Eddie
good,
Gordo.
but this is good. That's exactly. He's the dude from Tekken, Eddie Gordo.
this is a good knockout, actually. This is pretty good.
Yeah, like he's got skills, dude. He just fucks around a little too much. Like,
He's constantly jumping off that cage. That cage is gonna break.
I mean,
eh. Look at that.
Oh my god!
I mean, he's kind of cool. Like, I mean, like,
Yeah.
he's not ever gonna be.
If he would tone it down a little bit, he'd be alright.
See, like,
dude.
I mean, like, he's not bad, but like, also, yeah, I'll watch this guy fight every fucking.
He's
fight
gotten
card. I don't
fucked
give
up doing that. Though.
He just did a flip in the middle of a
for
fight.
no reason, no setup,
No reason. There was no kick to it. He
No.
just did a flip.
and like, I feel like okay, I'll watch that guy fight that random Russian guy and see him
Yeah.
flip around for a little bit and gas out.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
But yeah, like
Well, it's a much better looking fight than before, because I really want to see Kama Worthy fight again, and then
Overeem and that dude.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
so
why.
that's
Yeah,
all right.
that's worth a watch.
Hell yeah.
But you need fighters like that. They're just like, all right, this guy is fucking whack, but also pretty cool.
Right, but it's fun to watch.
Yeah, and he said like he lost that one white guy he was slipping towards and doing crazy shit towards. He gassed and lost that fight because the guy wrestled him. He literally gassed and lost because he did that in the first round. And he said, "I'll never stop fighting like that ever." Like he's never gonna
Good.
stop doing that. Like
Good.
yeah,
whatever.
like make a career because you got to realize, hey, I'm never gonna be champion. I'll just fight fun
right.
and then make a career out of that and just do that.
I'm
for
gonna
money.
make it look like a video game.
Yeah, and just look like you're mashing buttons.
So they're aiming for Thiago Santos' comeback with Glover there.
That's a
and
bad fight for
Angela
Glover.
Hill and Karate
It's,
Hottie.
yeah. It's a bad fight for Glover. It's also a bad fight for Santos.
Yeah,
Because if
because-
he loses that,
It sucks. I can't.
that sucks for his.
I can't not root for
track.
Glover.
I want
I
Santos.
want
I want to
Santos.
see Santos get that shot.
I like
heavyweight
Santos a
title
lot.
shot.
For me, it's hard to root against Santos because of how well he did with one leg against John Jones.
Well, wasn't both his legs fucked up?
Until Reyes, yeah, I think they were both fucked up. Until Reyes, he looked the best against John Jones.
Ever. Yeah, well, the Gus fight, the first Gus fight, too.
Angela
Yeah,
Hill,
the first
Angela
fight.
Hill versus Karate Hottie too.
That's actually not a
Didn't
bad
Hill
fight.
get robbed in her last fight? So that's cool.
And Frank Camacho
Yeah.
is literally Robbie Lawler, but little.
Macho Camacho,
Dude.
dude.
Have you seen Frank Camacho, Dave?
No.
Look, just click on him. I guess Google him because he literally looks like Robbie Lawler. Putting you to work today. I'm sorry. Google this. Dude, that's
Yeah.
Robbie Lawler,
A
but
little
little.
darker skin. Yeah, he looks just like Robbie Lawler. That's really weird. Same like body and everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Look at that picture. If you were to say that's Robbie Lawler, I'm like, yep, that's Robbie Lawler.
Yeah.
He has his tattoo. It looks like he has his tattoo. Maybe I don't know his tattoos as well as I should, But that's Robbie Lawler's tattoos
Or
too.
maybe you know him the right amount.
Yeah.
Probably shouldn't have his tattoos memorized.
There's some fighters I have tattoos memorized. Like, do you remember Renan Baral's tattoo of his grandmother on his arm? It's literally the worst tattoo I've ever seen. Or
no, the worst one is the dude with
Johnny Cash tattoo. Fucking
yeah, it looked like Elvis or Johnny Cash or whatever.
Darren Tills is pretty bad too.
Who was that?
That was he fought
Actually, Tony Ferguson's wings for like
bad.
8 years were half done.
Yeah, just finish him.
He was
got
like
the money.
He was like a middleweight, blue shorts. All
Hey, I know Alan Belcher.
Belcher, yeah, the talent Belcher. Yeah, dude, it was the worst.
You could probably do a podcast just on the worst MMA tattoos.
Yeah, that'd probably be fun.
Yeah, actually,
Belcher
it would
had the worst.
be. Bring them up
tattoo.
and talk shit about them.
Yeah.
I feel like most of them, like, there's a few that have good tattoos, and most are just like,
Yeah,
don't
and it's
get that.
crazy. If you're gonna be showing off your tattoos all the time.
I
So
like
why don't
Thiago
you
Santos'
get it together?
Thor hammer. I think that's cool.
Yeah, that one's cool. Like Lesnar's
Yeah,
tattoo looked like
It was
more
so
like a dick than it
stupid.
should.
Yeah,
Like
that was
the
worst.
idea is cool.
Yeah, but it was awful.
But on his chest is too muscly to show a
it's
tattoo off.
Well, you got a huge chest. Like, do like a real big sword. Like,
Yeah.
not like
Yeah.
a little.
Little brass knuckle sword.
That's a pretty cool tattoo.
Yeah, it's also. I mean, I would never get it. But
No
yeah,
way.
but it is.
You don't have that?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
You didn't get
Prove it.
Well, it's on my back.
Prove it. Yeah.
We'll never
Get
get
naked right here.
All right, what's on the next card?
176.
176.
I don't know.
Two-
I mean
That was
like,
4
it's
years
fight
ago.
night 176.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying that UFC 176. I'm
We
like,
just looked at
177.
Kyle's
177.
watching
It
TV
looked
from
like
3 years
Okay,
ago.
So
178 is what we're looking for.
yeah, 178.
Colby versus
That's
Tyron.
Woodley.
Yeah, and
that's
fight-
official
fight's
now.
going
Yeah,
down.
'cause
Yeah.
last time we talked, it wasn't.
Right, I
It
was
wasn't
gonna bring
official.
that up. I had it on here. So that is finally going down. I hate it, but it is what it
I
is.
don't understand why Woodley gets to fight Colby, really. But
Yeah.
if they want to do it, I'll watch it.
I feel like that's the only interesting fight.
Yeah,
right now. There
there's
should be
not much
announcing
on.
more fights. I
They
imagine.
might throw some more on there.
Yeah, they've got to throw at least one on there.
What's the date on that?
That has to be like a week before the.
Yeah.
Izzy fight.
September 19th. Okay.
Yeah, that's
so
a week before the Izzy fight. But I will never be rooting for Woodley as hard as I will be rooting for him.
That's
in this
only
fight.
a month away. Though.
Yeah,
It's hard
just
to
because I
root.
don't like Colby.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
I don't like the idea.
I would love if Woodley just fucking
Knocked him out. Yeah.
just
Woodley,
flatlined
yeah,
him.
fuck you.
And if you can't get motivated in the middle of a
Yeah.
fight against Colby, if you can't get motivated against him, who are you gonna get motivated for?
the MAGA warrior.
Because Gilbert Burns took on he's fairly short notice, so that fight was weird, and Burns is a nobody, so it's kind of hard to get up for that. I imagine in training you're not gonna get excited for a Gilbert Burns fight on short notice as you would against somebody like Colby, but
Right,
if you can't get motivated to train your ass off for this fight and show your best version of yourself.
right. Because this puts you. If you beat him, he puts you right back in contention.
Yeah,
I think Woodley's like 40 though.
He's
right?
like 38 now. Yeah,
he's. It might be. I don't
But
know.
if he beat him, it still puts him in contention. There's
Yeah,
no way
yeah,
around
sure.
it. It's Colby Covington.
And
that-
you know.
I don't like that Colby talks that much, and then if he wins against Woodley, it's just gonna make me
Yeah.
a little bit sick that he talked that much shit about Woodley. And I'm not defending Woodley; it's just the amount of Colby talking that's annoying.
I'll tell you what's really
Yeah,
funny.
so-
He did one of the Brendan Schaub shows, Food Truck Diaries.
Colby or
Colby,
Yeah.
and he brought some women with him, like he tends to do.
and then Schaub called them out on saying they're fucking hired.
Yeah, well, apparently it was obvious during too, because at one point, I guess when they were sitting down, Colby was like, "Hey, could you come over here and rub my shoulders?" The girl was like, "Fuck you."
Didn't pay her enough, I guess. Stephen Thompson.
fire, dude. What the fuck?
Stephen Thompson was talking shit on Colby, which is weird because he never talks shit on anybody. But
Right.
I think he was saying I want to fight Colby because the pre-fight hype would be entertaining. And he's like, there's bound to be some women in a video that's obviously paid to be there.
Yeah.
And I'm damn, he's throwing some heat at Colby for.
What's crazy is he's paying those women. They're not even that hot of women.
No, they're there's people you'd see at Manford's back in the day that were okay looking or whatever.
Right. They get more attractive as you get
It's
drunk.
triple play people or whatever. Yeah.
So funny.
But it's weird to even imagine. Colby's probably in my mind he's a virgin. That's probably not true, and I don't think about it often. But
Definitely is.
but just it's the Ben Shapiro sort of angle of a personality.
Yeah,
of
he's just so sleasy that no women will ever see.
yeah,
him.
and he's not even a bad looking guy. He
No,
just is
they're just
deplorable.
yeah, get away from me, dude. Look at
Dude, he's hover handing. Look, he's obviously hover handing that.
and that girl is very uncomfortable with where his hand is. He's
And
like,
she's-
"All right, asshole."
She's laughing at the other girls for having to
Yeah.
touch him.
yeah.
She's smirking at them.
Yeah,
Oh man. Such a look. Those girls won't even stand next to him. They're standing next to Brendan in that picture.
If Colby loses, I think the UFC will flush him. Seriously, they'll flush him out because, like, I don't think he makes him as much
off
money.
The strike for,
Colby's not
Bellator
as
would
big
be.
as he thinks he is. Like he has less followers than most people in his division. Like he doesn't have that like top 5.
People want to just see you get beat up.
Because like you think about his fan base, like if you're a MAGA supporter, there's probably a cross section of people who support him.
Yeah.
Like based on his politics, but like not really. Like no one that
How
is
many
really
of them are even UFC fans? You know,
Right,
it
like, you
starts
just-
whittling down to a very you've cornered yourself.
yeah. Like you think about a 45-year-old MAGA supporter, they're not really probably not watching the UFC as well as you
Right.
know.
Man, look at that awful picture of Joanna.
She looks like the Elephant Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, looks
Look
like
at
a
that.
painting of her.
Oh my god.
They might have.
What the fuck,
It's
dude? That
like-
can't.
it's funny, It's like her
Look at
head's way
her.
bigger there, dude.
It looks like that movie Mask.
and
Dude,
she's
Back
it
in the
looks
day.
Like the Elephant.
and she's pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah,
she
she's.
is.
You think so?
Would you make love to her in that?
No,
position? Okay.
no.
You might have to just to say you did.
But normally she is pretty. Joanna, there you go, J check.
If she was your girlfriend, it was just like sleep with me, and you're like,
I'd be
not
like,
right. Like, give me a couple.
Yeah, you're gonna let's heal up.
How rude, dude.
Like she's cute.
Sometimes her body looks like Gollum though. When she does face offs, I'm like, it's too much like Gollum.
Yeah, she like hunches her back out
Yeah,
like that
it's just-
for whatever
and she's
reason.
like also very skinny because she just cut weight, so she looks
Yeah.
very small, very weird. But
yeah.
I mean, as far as women, like she's pretty.
When is the Shevchenko fight?
That's on the. Fuck, is that the Izzy card?
So it'd be UFC
No, that's not the card.
254.
That's
It's either that or
November.
there's a beat card,
That's
right?
that's November versus Cody versus Fig. That's the same. That's two title
Oh,
fights.
yep. That's right. That is what it is. Yeah.
And I don't know. I'm scared for Cody in that fight.
I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know, man. That's what's tough
It's
for
a
me
good
to.
fight,
That's
yeah.
tough for me to read. That's really tough for me to read. I know what you're gonna say because of the weight cut and stuff
Yeah.
like that,
Yeah.
but it's
Like-
still tough for me to read. Who
If
knows?
he says he can do it comfortably.
If it's an easy
so.
weight cut for him, if
Yeah.
it's really not that bad for him, then I
should
mean,
be able to
that's
rock that
dangerous
shit.
for Fig, man.
Yeah, and it's hard to know how much Fig's power translates to somebody who fights at
Yeah, who
135.
isn't 4'3".
Right. Right.
And like, Benavidez, it's like he's old and he's little.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
That's a bad recipe for fighting somebody with any sort of power.
yeah.
So, but yeah, I'm excited for that fight. That's actually, like we said, the best fight they can make in that division.
Best
and make
fight,
it more
and
interesting.
like I said, I think we called it here.
Yeah.
Man, I do. I think that's the most interesting fight they could have made.
And I'm glad they kept the division around because if you
Me too.
if you make fights like that, people will watch those fights.
Yeah.
I just there's no reason to scrap that division. They fill out fight night cards, those title
Yeah.
fights. You know, what I mean,
Yeah,
they
throw
fill
title-
out they
throw those
fill
title
out
fights on fight
pay per views.
nights.
You put one of those as a co-main event, I'm fine with it. Like,
Yeah.
And Kyle, you mentioned last night how the women's fights are just like either
Who
boring
wants to
and
hate
close
on
or
them?
one sided.
well,
You,
yeah,
you,
it's
did, you did say something
No, I
about
did.
that.
Wow, you're stealing my thunder here, man.
I mean, it's they've all been like pretty one-sided lately. Like a lot of the women's fights seem to be pretty one-sided lately, and there's just like there's 115's got 4 or 5 elite ones, and then the rest of the divisions, it's like you have one elite fighter and then one maybe good contender.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's some prospects. Obviously, the women that are running through some of these girls, I'm like, they might be all right, but they ain't even been tested yet.
Yeah.
So
Well, because a lot of the contendership wins that they have is like they fought a girl who's like 4 and like 2. Or
Right.
like it's just like she's barely even a pro. Like
Yeah.
you think about just how much experience she has.
Right.
And
I'm
sa-
hoping we
and
get
I
an
think it's
influx
just
of talent soon.
Well, I think it's just a problem because it's still so new. There's not a
Yeah.
lot of amateur places for them to
Right.
fight, probably.
Right.
There's no ground. You think about men have such a competitive advantage with like growing up wrestling. Women don't have
Yeah,
that platform to,
Yeah, it's
to
just-
grow up. doing that.
it exists, but it's just not as prevalent. There's not as much of
Pushed,
it.
yeah.
A
You
lot
know
of
what I
these
mean?
men grew up from the time they were 6 years
Doing
old.
some kind of
wrestling.
combat sport.
You know,
Right.
like-
Yeah.
And actually, I was thinking about that. I think I mentioned to Kyle earlier that like that's one of the reasons why Sean O'Malley might be getting injured as often. His body, like starting to train Muay Thai, it's like those guys condition their legs from a young age.
Forever.
And like
Yeah.
if you start at 16 and you just start kicking like that, dude, your
Yeah.
bones are not gonna like.
Yeah,
They're not
different.
ready.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
not. Yeah, there's not that much time to
Yeah.
condition your legs to get ready for those kicks. Someone like Jose Aldo has been probably practicing Muay Thai since.
He's probably been kicking trees forever.
Right, and
Yeah.
it's like the conditioning is not there, and like you just can't pick up that style and try to implement it because you're
Yeah.
gonna get injured. And I think maybe I'm not sure if that's what's going on, but you got to look at that and say, well, he started MMA and just started MMA and didn't really specialize in one discipline. And I feel like in general, we saw it maybe a few years ago with Roy McDonald and some of these fighters coming up that were starting MMA early, and like it's actually kind of better to just be a wrestler for a while and add MMA.
Oh, yeah.
Or be somebody
as your base, you're a wrestler.
Right, and it's better to be a specialist for a little bit and then translate into MMA because it's
I think wrestling might be the best base.
Yeah,
it is. Yeah, and you have a Wonder Boy who like can do.
It's like those guys can they sit at the top 5, 6, but they never can get past those elite wrestlers.
Yeah,
and even in BJJ, you see less there's less Damian Maias, and you see somebody like Jacare who he did BJJ, but he's a great athlete, and he learned how to punch and learned how to wrestle because he's a great athlete. But Damian Maia just isn't a good athlete. He's a great fighter, great BJJ specialist.
His mind is the best thing probably about.
Yeah, right. But you just base skill level athleticism. It's not.
He just was never really going to get the striking.
Yeah, and like Jake Shields too. Like he was a great grappler, great wrestler, but he doesn't have the mechanics to box.
Yeah,
he's never was going to be a good boxer.
Looks awkward doing it.
And but you don't see as often because like I said, they touted people who came out he's been training MMA since he's 15, 14 or whatever. Well, by the time they're 30, they're burnt out. Their bodies are destroyed because they've been training MMA for 16 years.
Better to be even Cormier, he wrestled all the way up till he was 30 and then started.
And still.
I wouldn't say that's the usual path.
And still looks spry at 40.
Yeah, still.
Honestly, I was surprised how good he still looked. Yeah. I really was. It was still we said, it wasn't the best. He didn't look the best he's ever looked, but for him to be 40 years old,
he doesn't look 40.
Competitive. I still think he beats most people in that heavyweight division. It was impressive. I really was impressed.
And I'd actually be annoyed if he won the fight. And how are you gonna win the fight and never fight Francis? And it just in my mind, it's like you won the fight and that's great and you're the champion. But you're not even. I don't know if you're the best guy in the division because Francis could knock you out. Well, you need that Francis.
And
fight.
It's you like these greats to go out on top when it's football. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'd like to see Peyton Manning win the trophy and walk off because next year they're going for another fucking trophy. But I don't want to watch you win the title and walk off into the sunset. Get back here! You got somebody to fight. We got unanswered questions always. Right. So it's not the same sport. I think I was happy with the result. Cormier showed, he had a good showing. He walked out, kind of on top.
Yeah.
You've shown that you're
as close as you can to be a champion.
without ruining the title picture and making us be if Cormier came back, he would be the champion. So.
Right.
I don't like that.
I think the only time it's okay when they win the belt and goes situations like GSP.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's literally just this guy coming back for one fight. Can he do it? You know what I mean?
And who was holding the title at the time?
Right. It's perfect for him.
It wasn't really ruining the title picture because he was gonna lose it sometime.
If he would have lost it to Whitaker, it's pretty fast.
Probably, yeah.
And I feel like it's set up sort of like pro wrestling where you need to give the rub to somebody before you leave. You sort of need to. It's sad for the
you got to put
career.
a guy over before you leave.
Yeah.
How about our buddy Luke Rockhold saying he wants to come back?
Oh,
and he's calling out Weidman. I think.
Yeah, Weidman acted I don't know if I'm interested. But he needs to fight some people before.
It's funny
because against somebody my caliber, he was literally on that shit.
It's funny though too. Luke Rockhold he got his jaw broke his last time we seen or heard about him, and then he comes back and it's wow, you're just as unlikable as I thought you were last time we heard you talk. Right. He was those dudes look terrible, and it's just he has no humility. He's
he definitely picked Weidman because Weidman did look bad, man.
I feel
you're right. And Weidman thinks he's too fucking good for
Dude,
him.
I would watch that fight just to see how bad it goes.
I want to see that fight because I want the loser to go away forever. And then the winner.
Who would you root for, Kyle? Because you don't like either of them.
Oh,
I'm hoping
Weidman. I think
I'm hoping for a double knockout.
Yeah, no, I think I hate Luke Rockhold a lot more than Weidman actually.
But I feel like Rockhold would beat him probably now still.
I think Luke would probably beat him.
Because Luke on the ground's still pretty good.
Yeah, when he can't be slower than Weidman looked.
And he can't have a worse gas tank either. He can't have a worse gas tank than
that just seems like it would be
Weidman.
Impossible.
I feel like Luke though is dude, his grappling is so good and his striking is just so bad and his defense is so porous that he just has no choice but to get knocked out. And his wrestling is so bad too. He's good on the ground, but he has no way to get it there. He's bad on the feet and has good kicks, and that's it.
Yeah.
It's such a weird fighter because I hate him. I think he's very fucking overrated in terms of his divisional place, but he's skilled. It's just right. In the same with Weidman. Weidman's skilled in some areas. his game is so bad at other areas, it just immediately falls apart when it goes bad.
Yeah.
Like he said, and also talking shit on like Ian Blachowicz and then get knocked out by him. It's like, dude, you can't.
That was a solid guy. I was like, dude, you're gonna get knocked out.
Because like, what are you gonna
talking about?
And like, it's a bad matchup because like you if you have no takedowns, how are you gonna beat him? Because you're striking so bad. Like
you're gonna be forced to stand in front of this guy who's gonna
right.
clock you.
He was clinching a lot in that fight and just couldn't get anything going, takedown wise, clinch wise, and was getting out muscled by somebody who has been fighting at 205 his whole career. And you're just coming
up. You think the smaller cage had any effect last night in that? I didn't feel like it affected the main event as much as I thought it. I
didn't notice it as much.
I don't think it. I noticed.
I feel like it might have affected for the smaller guys because they'd be across that cage so quick.
Well,
like because they're moving so fast.
I don't think it affected the fight like it would have went any differently in the larger cage, but it was noticeable to me. Like it was like 3 steps and they were on the other side of the ring. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was weird. It was crazy to see. Yeah, just those giant men in that smaller cage was weird.
They should not do that.
Yeah.
Like I don't know why that's even an option for like actual real professional fights.
It's like this changes things.
Because I don't think they have the capability of fighting anywhere else.
Well, they could put a bigger cage in that arena.
That's true.
I think they could fit more. Yeah.
Because you look at the space of the arena, and like I guess for the optics of the arena, the small cage is okay on the Contender Series and stuff. But it's just like it's unacceptable to have grown men fighting in that cage. It's just like
grown big ass men.
Yeah, and like even any grown man, it's just like even like Sean O'Malley. It's like you think about his movement. His movement is going to be hampered by that cage
for sure.
And like,
did you hear they said something about like from toe to head, like that Sean O'Malley and Vera were as long as Stipe.
They had longer legs.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Stipe has very short legs. If you look at his body, it's really weird.
I got to bring this up because it's the craziest, maybe dumbest MMA news I heard this week is Paige Van Zandt going to bare knuckle boxing.
Bare knuckle boxing. Yeah.
What are you doing? You're gonna ruin your moneymaker.
Yeah, your face is gonna cut up scar tissue.
It is gonna get cut the fuck up.
I don't know, man.
That is crazy.
She wants to prove that she's like not another pretty face.
She's tough. Okay, go fight in Bellator or something.
Yeah, but who are you proving that to? Because I don't think she's not very skilled. But I wouldn't be like, oh, she's just a pretty face.
I think Bellator would sign her. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Bellator would sign her. Why wouldn't they sign her? I mean, bare knuckle fighting, she's her face is gonna get fucked up.
And you think about just like
she's so pretty.
I don't know.
She is.
I think that does, and also it does worse for her like brand. Like
for sure.
Like you don't want like it just.
You might as well have went to backyard fighting.
Right.
Yeah, backyard wrestling.
You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck are you doing? Yeah. I don't understand. They must have offered her. They must have backed up the truck.
Have fucking brought out the checkbook for her.
Yeah, because
right.
We're talking about it.
Yeah, well, because and you think about too, it's like when I think of back like the bare knuckle boxing, I think of like Johnny Hendricks getting knocked out by a gay porn star. I don't think of anything good. I think of like old fat heavyweights from like 2010 that washed out of the UFC, like fucking random fighters just fighting because they had nowhere else to go.
Yeah.
I don't think of somebody who's 26, 25 that's lost in the UFC, but you know,
and especially when you make a lot of money off of that beautiful face of yours,
you need to protect it.
Yeah,
more than you should. You know, just fighting in MMA. MMA is already dangerous. You got to have your nose broke, your face cut up, but the chances of that in bare knuckle boxing is way higher. You know?
Yeah. To me, it's just a fucking insane move. I just don't understand it.
And then when you think of like bare knuckle, like is it me or do you think about that's the last stop for a career?
Yeah.
That's not like a pit stop. That's literally the dead end.
Right.
That's the last opportunity.
Especially if you lose there.
Yeah. Like where you gonna sign to an MMA promotion and fight there? It's like
right. Who's gonna sign you after you lost at bare knuckle boxing?
Yeah. It just sounds like it's like BJ Penn getting signed after getting beat up.
Why didn't she just go to pro wrestling, dude?
I honestly,
she'd be fine there.
I would have said Bellator, PFL. I don't know if PFL has women actually.
I don't know if PFL is even signing anybody because they didn't have a whole season.
Who's even? This is the thing: is who's even doing fighting?
Bellator and UFC. Well, actually, there's some.
Are they back?
I think Cage Warriors is maybe.
Yeah, I think Cage is too. But and then again, WWE. Honestly, that would have been fine.
Who is she gonna fight though? Like Sable, Sonny from just some random WWE superstar in bare knuckle boxing.
Rowdy.
No, I'm saying actually do WWE.
Do Trish Stratus versus Paige Van Zandt in bare knuckle boxing. I'd watch the shit out of that.
I would too.
Yeah, just like whatever.
Whatever. Cool.
The Corpse of China versus.
Oh Jesus.
I'm sorry. A little dark. Sorry.
I forgot she was dead.
Yeah. I'm sorry,
Kyle's sad now.
Damn it.
Sorry to break the news to you. 10 years later.
Oh, the last thing I'm going to bring up is, if we go to rankings, is Darush versus Oliveira.
Oh, it's cool, man.
Because I'm excited for that fight. Where are we at here?
It's lightweight.
Lightweight.
Down one, down. Right there. So, like I was saying about Oliveira, though, he's gonna have to put a number of these like guys lower than him together before they're gonna put him.
It seems crazy to me though. Click on him because how many fight win streak is
Like
he
7.
on? Yeah,
or something. 6.
How many?
Maybe.
So what does he have to beat? 14 guys?
I mean, dude.
Yeah.
If Ferguson had to beat 12 guys, then, you know, I mean, it happened.
Well, Ferguson had his chance. It just fucked up a bunch.
Right. It just kept getting fucked
Yeah.
up. It's not like he wasn't given the opportunity. He just kept fucking up.
Yeah. But look at Oliveira's comment. He hasn't beat anybody like.
I mean, David Taymor's pretty good.
Yeah, Lentz isn't awful.
He last lost to Felder. Yeah,
Yeah.
Felder's top 10 though.
Yeah.
Yeah, Felder's top 10.
They should actually do that rematch.
Go back up. Keep going. Yeah, and then he made Kevin Lee look
I mean, that's the big fight for him.
Yeah.
Stupid.
Well, like I said, the top division
And these are all finishes in the fucking first or second round.
But none of them are big name. Yeah,
but
like
you only he's beating the people he needs
Jim
to beat.
Miller,
right?
You know, I mean, he's submitted Jim Miller.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good win.
That's a good win
for a submission. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and also, like I said, I always say this every week, but like the top division, they want to fight big names. All of them do. No one wants to fight a Charles Oliveira. It's a low risk, high
risky fight.
Yeah.
Low reward, high risk fight for him.
Yeah, and I don't know who I'm rooting for in that because I love that fucking Darush, man. I love him, but I also like Oliveira, and I think
Oliveira's gonna win.
Yeah, and I think Oliveira has the potential to have some star power, man, because he's pretty slick on his feet. He's a great submission artist. Yeah.
From the moment when Oliveira first walked on the scene, I thought he had star. You know, what I mean, I was always high on him.
It's insane how long he's been in the UFC.
Yeah.
Like it's nuts. He's been in the UFC for like 10 years. He's only 30, which I mean he has a lot of experience in the cage there.
Yeah.
And I mean Beneil's good. I just don't think Beneil he's good at striking, but I think he's a little less slick everywhere.
I think he's I think he's good at both, but I think he's a little less slick everywhere. I think that's a perfect way to describe it. Did you think he maybe has a little more power?
I think it just depends on because Oliveira doesn't get hit.
Sneaky power.
Yeah, Oliveira doesn't really get hit that clean. It seems like anymore.
Yeah,
like he's gotten a lot better. So you're talking about the step. It's hard to take the step because he's lost last time he did that. But it's like, well, I mean, you can't knock a guy for improving and winning. You know what I mean?
Right.
If he soundly beats Dariush, then it is time that you got to give him somebody in the top 5. But
they need to get this up here. Like Conor needs to get moving and get out of the rankings.
Yeah, stuff needs to happen.
Dan Hooker needs to not highly rate himself as high as he does and take a step. Hooker needs to fight Islam Makhachev or somebody like that.
Lightweight's not as good as.
Right. I mean, if Oliveira has to fight number 14, then Hooker can fight
Makhachev.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, come on.
He already beat Ala Cuenta. Diego Ferreira submitted at Pettis. That's actually a good submission win. You think about Pettis being submitted, that doesn't happen very often. So Diego Ferreira needs a good fight. I mean, these dudes, it sucks to move up in the UFC.
Wasn't Pettis fighting somebody?
Pettis wants to fight Anderson Silva.
Oh, yeah.
But actually heard rumors of him versus Chimiev.
Wow.
Yeah, they said something's wrong with his
Yeah.
visa.
Chimiev?
Yeah. But I think he would smash Pettis.
Yeah, probably.
It'd be bad.
He'd smash a lot of people.
A lot of people.
Yeah.
It's hard to be like, so who wouldn't he smash in the
170, 185?
Right.
We don't know.
we don't really know, but man, when you fight 2 fights and you only had 2 punches landed on you, it says something.
Yeah. You can't gauge someone's ceiling. There's no data on him besides smash.
Smash.
Yeah. If that's the data, you got to believe in that data until you see otherwise.
Yeah.
And I think there will be other data. People will give him more of a test.
Right. He's not going to do that to everybody.
Yeah. But you could you do that enough to beat everybody?
Yeah,
maybe.
Probably.
Yeah. I think there's a good chance he does that to most of the people 10 to 15.
Yeah.
Pretty easily. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially someone like RDA, because RDA doesn't have power.
Yeah.
That actually, I heard of RDA actually coming down to fight Islam Makhachev. I actually heard that rumor. RDA coming back to 155 and fighting Islam, which is RDA needs to not fight wrestlers. He fights every fight he fights is wrestlers.
Yeah.
When he gets taken down.
Yeah, when you can be having exciting fights.
He doesn't need to fight wrestlers. He could rematch Pettis at 155. I'd be happy with that fight.
Yeah.
Because he's not going to be champion anywhere.
Also, did you see what Khabib said? Khabib's already talking like he's beating Gaethje.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Not a little bit. He said, listen, Tony, Conor, one of you fight Dustin, beat him, and then I'll fight you.
But I think it's in the context. I think it was in a press conference that people asking him questions.
Okay.
I think a lot of MMA media is that where like they take a soundbite of somebody saying something.
I think it's media in general. Really.
Yeah. You know, it works. But somebody asks you a question and say, "Oh, who do you think about this?" or "What do you think about this?" And then they answer and they go, "He's overlooking his opponent." First of all, he can answer a question about a dude
that you asked him.
Yeah, like that's not doesn't mean you're overlooking.
But I like that he said that because he's basically saying like he'll fight any one of the three of them. Just one of them two have to fight each other. Yeah, and that makes sense.
I think Gaethje's gonna win, dude. I think his wrestling pedigree is gonna be enough.
I want him to win. It's so hard to bet against Khabib. It's so hard.
And it's hard because, like, in my mind, I remember the moments where Gaethje's taken down by Poirier and Eddie Alvarez, and just like, fuck, like it just. I see it because I see.
But he probably wasn't focused on not being taken down as much. You know what I mean? Because he's like, oh, we're just gonna go to war here. Yeah. And
but it just if you neuter your game and if you base your game around stopping takedowns, his game has to suffer on his offensive side. Right. There's a give and take there about what you. Same thing with Conor. Conor focused on the wrestling so much, his striking lacked, and his striking couldn't get off in the way it usually does because you give up. You give up something to go for something else.
But I don't think Gaethje's going to have to make that mistake because he has the wrestling pedigree.
Right. It's like he doesn't. It's like he doesn't actually have to focus on training on it as much. He just has to be more aware of a takedown. You know what I mean? More aware than he normally is against other people he's fighting.
Yeah, whenever you're setting up these exchanges, be aware that.
But man, I thought Khabib was going to lose forever ago. Like when he first came on the scene, like all he does is wrestle. All he does is wrestle.
He's gotten so much better though.
He has. But like when he first came on, I was like, eventually some dude is just going to clean this guy's clock. No,
I feel like the big moment for me, like seeing it was like the Barboza and Michael Johnson fights. Yeah. That's where he sort of turned the corner and became like the Khabib we know.
Yeah, the Michael Johnson fight, especially, was like, holy shit.
He was screaming at him.
Yeah. You must quit. You must quit. I'm 5 foot title.
That's like a fucking Rocky movie or whatever. Like, it's like something out of a movie. But because like I remember the RDA fights and he got takedowns, but it wasn't like punishing ground and pound, and like it wasn't like wrapping up somebody on the ground like that. It was more just takedowns and like get ups and takedowns.
Right.
That was more of his game back in the day. Now, like, it sort of just became more lethal on the ground, and more strangling,
Yeah, not as much as we saw from the Swedish Khabib, but much more violent on the ground. I'll tell you, the more I listen to some of what he says and stuff like that, I like him more and more as a person. I just don't like the style.
It's impressive, though.
I can't. It is. I can't knock it. It's impressive. I can't knock it. I mean, it's amazing that you can just do that. To everybody,
to grown men, grown fighters.
But that's not what I want to watch, really. I mean, it's impressive and I respect it and all that, but it's like that's not the guys that I like. Yeah, fucking love this dude. Like,
like you can't. But it's weird because like I get fired up, and for me mentally, it's also.
But I kind of love that Swedish Khabib guy.
Yeah, well, it's because he's so violent. With
violent. It's like God. He looks a little bit like the God of War.
But once he gets to the top. Does it become like
like Kratos?
Does it start to just look like Khabib, more like Khabib, and it's a little less?
Right, because he can't do as much. We'll see. Because he's wiry.
I always see the for me mentally, like I notice myself finding fighters and seeing them like come up a little bit, and then I turn the corner mentally and like I see their fights as big deals. Like last night when I saw Sean O'Malley versus Cheeto, and it's a co-main event, and maybe the hype around it, and you see it, but like. Before then, it was like he fought and I was interested. Now it's like
this was
I feel like a big deal.
Yeah, it felt like a main event there for a second.
And I noticed that too. Like whenever I think when Adesanya fought Brunson, I felt like that too a little bit. You see a fighter and they take that leap and you get more invested in the outcomes of their fights more so than you were. And like Sean O'Malley too, like I wasn't nervous for like I don't want to lose or win. I didn't care that much.
Just the excitement of what's going to happen. Right. Is this kid going to become the next Conor McGregor?
It's nice to see that star power like rise in my mind. Yeah. Because
and it was unfortunate what happened in that fight, but the good thing is I don't think it took that much away from his star power. He got injured. It's just a matter of is that going to be a constant problem?
Yeah. I mean it is worrisome for his career. His career looks more dim.
That's what concerns me.
Not really his skill level, but like
the loss on his record. That don't mean shit. It's like, is he going to be able to perform?
Function?
Be able to fight?
Is his foot always going to fall off?
Yeah, because it's like like I said, if you're a good fighter, it's like you're only good as your body's gonna hold up.
Yeah.
Even if he'd have came out and just flat out lost this fight, I still would have been like, well, I mean, he's still good. Like, there's still a lot to come for this kid.
Yeah, I think that would have hurt his star power a little bit.
Yeah,
more.
a little bit. Yeah, because you get people like, it's all hype. Fuck you. People love that shit. You know what I mean?
But they're not going to recognize the fact that dude had 6 straight wins in that weight division.
Right. Well, and also I think about mentally too. Like, fighters are all different. They're all different mentally. They're all different physically. But you think about somebody like Thiago Santos who had no legs. And he fought. And people have fought like Sean fought.
Yeah.
I mean, the same similar conditions.
Yeah.
I think it's a little bit different when it's the foot because that's what you're standing your base on. Like the knees, it's still probably painful and stuff like that. But I feel like it's probably a little bit easier to stand.
Yeah.
But not only was Thiago Santos standing, he was fucking still throwing them kicks.
Yeah, it's like, is there a pain tolerance issue too? Like,
right.
But I mean, you can't fault the guy for getting injured. You don't know how bad that was, really.
And and you got to give credit to Cheeto because, I mean, Sean, his foot was fucked up, but also, like, you don't have any jiu-jitsu to get him off you in the way that he was on you because it's like he fucking started blasting you.
Leg.
But that's what I'm saying. Like a lot of what he would have had to do in that position is get his foot into his fucking hip, try to push him away. But could he?
Right.
Probably not.
You know what I mean? Could he because of that foot?
Right.
If you can't stand on it, how are you going to push on it?
Right. No way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, it's just like I don't know. I feel like some fighters handle it differently. That's all. You know. It's
I agree with that. Yeah, without a doubt.
It's hard to know. Like what the
Thiago Santos might have pushed him. Like, fuck this foot. I don't care. Get off me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, like, you just lost, and we don't know the injury yet. I don't know the report yet.
We don't know exactly.
I'm excited to see what happened because, like I said, Cejudo, like, his foot fucked up in that fight against Mighty Mouse, and he recovered. And like he could have just had a fuck up foot for a minute. He could have shook it out in the corner. I don't know how.
Yeah,
it could have played.
That's what I was thinking too. If he hadn't had rolled it when you saw it when it was
he
real
might
bad,
have been fine. He
would
might
it
have been able
have cleared up?
Yeah, because we've seen somebody else, not even just Cejudo. There was somebody else that happened to, and like it eventually they recovered. Like their foot was like weird for him for a minute.
I can't remember who it was either.
It was not too long ago.
But I know what you're talking about.
You see it as often, like now. I think it's more often. It seems like because I think calf kicks are a lot more common, and the calf kick sort of triggered that response in the foot.
Yeah.
So you see that a little bit more often than you used to. But you've seen fighters fight through it too, and his took a different turn.
Yeah.
But also, like whenever I see fighters fight through it, I see him lose because of it. It's like, well, I mean, do I judge that a little bit? Maybe, I don't know. It's like I like to see the MRI.
And I'm pretty sure whoever I'm thinking of won the fight. Like their foot got messed up like that, and then it recovered, and they ended up winning. Because it was somebody I liked too. Because I was like, oh no, dude, like they're fucked. And then
that happened in the Andre Sukmouth fight with Sean O'Malley too, where he fucked up his leg, and then that guy wrestled him the whole time, and he still won by decision. He still carried out, but like. So he grappled like that before.
Yeah.
Like, so like you think about it, it's like I don't know.
Supposedly it's the same injury, but we don't actually really know. I mean, so was it worse? Was it whatever? Who knows?
And Cheeto's also like sort of getting underrated.
And did it fuck with O'Malley's head? Like, dude, again? Are you fucking kidding me?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Does he give up?
Yeah.
Well, like I said, fighters sometimes give up, sometimes they don't. I'm not judging him.
And plus,
I don't know if he did or not.
He only had to get through 1 round last time. He would have had to get through 3.
Right.
Well, 2 more.
But I guess when you talk shit like that, it's like, dude, when you lose, I don't care how you lose. It's like you just have to face a little bit of humility. Like,
I don't think he talks like horrendous.
Well, he said it was
an
easy fight. It's like, well,
yeah.
Whenever he's on the top pounding you, regardless of what happens, you gotta face a little bit what he said.
It comes across more as like I'm just confident that I'll fuck everybody up. Versus like talking shit.
Yeah, like Connor is talking shit. He's also confident, but Connor's talking shit. I don't think O'Malley's talking as much shit.
No.
But I know that I think on Twitch he's a little different because I don't watch his like actual other shit. But I know that he streams his like knockouts a lot, and there's always
he'll talk about him.
Yeah,
I've seen some footage of it,
and it's like that can be less endearing.
He actually makes a pretty good living off of Twitch.
Especially now, probably.
Yeah.
Well, he probably needs to make some living off Twitch of not fighting maybe for a year. I don't know how long he's going to be out for.
So.
But I mean, I will say that I want him to recover well, and he still has a great future if his body can hold up.
Yeah.
And I know that about his fighting
because he's very talented.
Yeah, no, I wasn't rooting for him, but also I'm also objective about someone's skills, that he's very talented.
Yeah.
But like, if your body's gonna give out, dude, it's like this ain't the fucking sport to your body to give out mid competition.
Right, stick to Twitch if that's the case.
Yeah, there ain't no timeouts really. You know, it's like if you're in the middle of a combat scenario.
Yeah, well, sometimes it happens.
Yeah. But like,
Yoel Romero, you got to take a timeout.
I'm wondering if they would have sent him back out if he didn't get pounded for a second.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I've seen fighters go out like that, and they sort of hide it, and they sort of like, all right, hobble out there and fucking give it your go.
Well, it seemed like the pain set in too for him at the end of that.
It seemed
round.
like the pain was much worse for him this time than the last time.
Well,
but
like,
again, how much of that was mental? Just like, fuck, are you fucking kidding me?
When he initially fucked his foot up, it seemed like he was dealing with it okay. Like he couldn't use it well, but the pain wasn't really the factor. Then once he got down, it seemed like it started hurting him, like the adrenaline, whatever. He eventually, I think the pain set in.
He didn't protest a stoppage, so that's why it's weird when people were like, "Oh, it's early stoppage." Like he didn't even protest it. He wasn't like, "Let me keep going."
Yeah, well, and like I said, to me it was bad but good. Like if it was any other circumstance, I don't think it would have been stopped. But the fight was over.
Yeah.
It was over. In that scenario, that fight was over. That fight was not going to go any different way.
No, and there's no way that he would be competitive in any other the round after that, or even that.
That's what I mean. It's over. Yeah, it's a good stoppage because of that. Now, if this was another fight where the guy's foot wasn't injured and he could walk and he still had all of it, then maybe a few more shots. Yeah. But no, the fight was over. Everybody knew it.
The narrative.
And I think he was. I think you could even hear him griping about the pain of it even when he was down there.
Yeah, I think he was.
The narrative that I see though online of people saying like he was winning before he lost. It's like, or before he got injured. Like, like
it was a fight.
Yeah, let's base every fight off the first minute of the fight.
Yeah, and it wasn't like he was dominating him for that minute.
Like a feeling out process of what the fuck are you gonna do? But that's what's going on every fight.
Yeah, anybody who's upset about that loss, stop it.
Yeah,
it's a loss. It is what it is. It's a fight game.
You
know what I mean?
A homer for O'Malley. Dude.
Yeah, and I'm a big O'Malley fan.
Too.
I'm a massive O'Malley fan. It's a loss. That's it.
Yeah.
And there was no way around it. Even if the ref didn't call it there, it was going to be over. Even if he somehow managed to survive that round, he was going to get beat in the next round.
This is probably the best way for him to lose, though. You think about the asterisk it adds to a win or a loss. Or
if
whatever
they meet later on down the road after,
it'll be
wins,
it'll be a nice
huge,
it'll be like, you remember when I hurt my foot? My foot's going up your ass.
That'd be a great promo. Fucking Batman voice too, right?
If it gets hurt again, I'm just.
I feel like I gotta stop doing that voice. I feel like that voice is creepy.
Probably. The female fans probably don't like it.
I don't think we have female fans.
Sure we do.
Hey, you gotta be positive.
Well, if we did, Brandon fucking scared
chased them off.
Yeah. We did have female fans, so you guys invited me on the podcast many times.
That's hilarious.
But I wonder what O'Malley's gonna say about things, because I don't wonder if he's gonna be like, oh, I just got hurt, because it's. I don't know. Whenever you like,
is he gonna make excuses?
He did get knocked out for a second. Like you can't deny. Like, hey, you got flash knocked out on the ground too.
Yeah, his eyes went limp. Like,
his wrist went limp.
Yeah.
Went out. He came back up. But you did get pounded, and you did look like you're in some fucking. You know, you got some damage too, besides the leg. You know.
I wouldn't mind him saying something like, who knows what would have happened if I didn't hurt my foot, but I lost the fight. You know what I mean?
That's what you
can't. But you can't be like, oh, I definitely would have won that fight if I didn't hurt my foot.
Yeah.
Like, no, you can't say that.
No,
there's no way for you to say that.
Just say you want to run it back.
I like when people will lose with humility and they actually admit they lost and they admit the guy just won.
That's why I always thought Connor did pretty well.
He definitely does.
Dude, now on Twitter. Dude, on Twitter, he's like, he just humped my leg for a full round. I won the first round.
I'm not saying about the Khabib fight. I'm saying in the early, the Diaz fight, I thought he handled that really well.
And he, even immediately after the Khabib fight, he handled it well. But after that, it went bad. But
it's since been.
But
crazy.
typically before that, even with all the shit talking on his whole climb up to the crazy stardom that he had, his whole climb up, he was very respectful in wins and losses. He just wasn't respectful beforehand.
Yeah.
Like even if you watch his documentary Notorious on Netflix, when he knocked out Jose Aldo, he told him after the fight, like, you're one of the best of all time. He's like, we'll run this back. Then Dana White in the UFC, Dana White in the UFC offered him a dump truck of money to go up and fight for the other one. How can he pass that up?
Yeah.
Whether he wanted to give Jose Aldo the fight or not, when they're offering you a chance at double belts and all this fucking money.
Yeah. Goodbye.
Yeah. Keep it moving.
You got to do what you got to do.
Right.
Because how long is that stardom gonna last?
I'm not gonna hold up my life for this guy knocked out in 14 seconds.
Yeah.
Right, you just can't.
Fuck you, buddy.
But that's what he said to him. You could hear it clearly in the documentary after the fight.
Yeah, he definitely does.
Yeah.
But it's like nowadays it's so annoying to like, don't mention Khabib until you get back to Khabib.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about it. Because
anything.
Yeah, and I think
Just shut up
Khabib is.
and
I think
fight.
Khabib is exactly right. One of the two of you fight Dustin Poirier, and then I'll fight whoever wins that fucking fight.
Yeah.
Good. Perfect.
Good.
But like
I would love to see Conor fight Poirier again.
Yeah.
Cause I remember whenever they had the he was talking about Justin and saying, "Oh, I'm gonna take him to deep waters." Conor tweeted like, "Oh, you mean you're gonna die for his legs within the first 10 seconds and sniff his crotch?" It's like, dude. I mean, you fucking got tapped out. If there's no judge, you're dead on the street.
Right.
First, like seriously.
First, true. That's what he means by deep waters. But guess what? Nobody can stop it.
Yeah, but like
he's gonna pull you down and then he's gonna strangle you or beat you.
Yeah,
he's gonna do it. But it's gonna start with him going for the legs, and then his head's gonna be in your crotch for a second.
You know that,
and then he's gonna murder you.
Yeah, and like you're not.
And you can't stop it. So stop talking shit on it.
You will have lost a fucking fight.
And it's like, don't even. You're not the one to say this though. You're not the one that should be talking because you're like, you don't see Barboza being like,
I'm not saying,
he fucking wrestled my legs.
Yeah.
You don't
I'm not
see
saying
anyone else.
I'm not saying he was right for saying it. I'm
I
just
know
saying,
what you're saying too, but
that is how it's going to start.
Yeah.
And then those deep waters are going to keep getting deeper as he keeps climbing up your body because you can't stop him.
Right. it just looks bad whenever you're the only person that's ever fought Khabib and you're still saying that. Like you don't see Alan Quinton being like, he just wrestled me.
Yeah.
Like no shit. What are you gonna?
Yeah. The rest of the guys know they lost. So.
Right.
And also it's just the amount of sort of delusion about like the skill level on the ground. Like when people fight Khabib, I think when you start grappling, like Dustin Poirier said, I can't get him off me. And that's a fucking world class Dustin Poirier here, who's fought everybody his whole career.
Well, and all you have to do is listen to DC. DC is like, he does that shit to heavyweights.
Yeah, that's wild. Dude.
What?
Yeah.
like how did he weighs 155 pounds? He does that to 230 pound men.
Yeah, well, he's probably like probably 180, 190 when he walks around. Yeah. He's a thick dude.
Yeah, but still, but if he's practicing with heavyweights, those heavyweights are probably 250, 260.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's crazy. I feel like he's people always say like the muscles on apes are just different. They're just stronger. I feel like that's kind of like what he is.
And Conor has more fast twitch muscles that are more more capable of knocking somebody out and having that hair trigger of a punch. And Khabib doesn't shrug like that. He doesn't have punches like that.
No.
He's fast actually. He's fast for his like size and his build.
Yeah.
He moves around the cage actually really fast. And I think he's actually probably faster than Justin Gaethje in terms of athletic performance. He probably could shoot him faster.
Just shoot and stuff.
Yeah, Justin Gaethje isn't really fast. He has great striking and his hands are fast. But
his hands are fast, but not his overall movement.
Khabib's actually a great athlete. People actually underrate that. He's a great athlete. Like you think about,
you have to be a great athlete to do that to every man you ever fight. Right. You have to be.
I think you think of athletes as somebody like DC who's like actually competed in the Olympics, and like you don't have to be a someone like that to be an athlete. I think most MMA fighters are
there's not a certain build that makes.
But honestly, God, what do you think Khabib would do to people just wrestling in the Olympics?
He'd beat the shit out of him probably.
That's how I feel.
Yeah.
I mean, they can't stop him when they're allowed to punch him in the face. How are they going to stop him when they can't punch him in the face?
I think people overrate American wrestling in that regard. That like combat sambo and people that are competing in things that we don't even know about.
Yeah.
It's like we tend to say like D1 wrestler. It's like, okay, well, there's a whole culture of people wrestling since they're 5 as well.
Yeah.
These guys probably could stack up just as well as these dudes.
Yeah.
And we're biased towards American wrestling because it's in our school system since the age of 5.
Right.
We said with women.
There's nothing that makes it more superior, really, to like.
No.
If anything, Cuba.
And Cuban they have like a freaking draconian wrestling program
Yeah,
where they fucking
you have
train
to win
you.
to eat.
Yeah. and well, sambo too is sambo is striking. Sambo is wrestling and striking, so it's a little bit more.
Yeah,
better.
Catered toward MMA. For
yeah,
sure.
it's easier to translate that.
Yeah. I actually think that combat jiu-jitsu that. What's fucking Joe Rogan's friend's name?
Jocko Willink?
No.
Oh, he doesn't.
Eddie
Bravo.
Gordo.
He's doing. He's doing.
That's also his friend. He's also been on the podcast.
He's doing combat jiu-jitsu where like you can smack, and I think that's actually going to help some of those guys transfer into MMA.
Yeah.
Even though it's just slapping, still.
Eddie Bravo, he was a 10th planet, right? With ninth planet, right? Is it
10th planet.
Yeah. With that's Ferguson, right? And there's a bunch of other guys too.
Yeah. Well, Eddie Bravo owns it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's his jiu-jitsu style basically. But yeah,
Who else
Tony
practices
Ferguson is there. Quite a few people.
I know there's a few UFC fighters.
Yeah,
that
he's considered like a true genius in jiu-jitsu.
And conspiracy theory.
For how crazy he is. That's what I was going to say. For how crazy he is, he's considered like a complete genius.
Is he a flat earther? I can't remember.
Yes.
He's everything. Whatever theory you got.
He'll start out not. Like with Flat Earth, I believe what happened was it started out, he was like, I'm not a flat earther. I really like looking into it. And then eventually he's like, dude, the earth is flat.
Yeah. You can be made to defend anything.
It's so crazy to me.
I feel like it's just like, log off the internet.
Dude,
log
stop.
off. Turn off the phone.
Delete YouTube from your phone.
Yeah,
just stop it.
Yeah, because it's just, I mean, you're too deep in it now that your brain is not able to recognize reality in some situations.
Yeah, you're just too deep. Well, anyway, we should probably wrap this up.
I'm hungry.
You guys got anything else?
Nah.
We'll be back next week with more.
Yeah, we'll be back next week with more of this menagerie. Uh-oh.
You got to think about the skill and athleticism of Fedor compared. No, I'm just just get back into it. Bring up this other clip of Fedor.
All right, MMA Fools. We'll see you guys next week. Love you guys.
All right, see you.